Did you fail to seduce someone or something?
No, I'm not seducing anyone yet.
Oh no, Connor, I should have bet against you.
What?
Oh, god damn it.
You
Me
bet
and
that you were
Chloe
like,
were the first ones in here, and I was like, I bet Rachel's not in here because she's too focused in trying to woo slash charm slash seduce a love interest, and then she's going to be like, oh, sorry, I was trying to seduce so and so, that's why I was late and I got too into the game.
No,
No, you ruined it.
I was collecting herbs.
Collecting them herb.
that does sound like stuff that I would do playing a game. I like collecting things, like pointless things, or things that will come in useful later.
We want murder.
Murder! I avoid murder in
Murder.
games a lot of the time.
Give me that shoulder.
I just found my D&D shirt in the pile and I feel like I'm letting tonight down.
I've got
I'm not wearing
my two off in the side somewhere. So don't worry, you're not the only one. You nerds, give me them recap dice. I want to see who suffers.
Probably me. Oh no! Oh wait, okay, I did do the worst. 3 10s, what? Oh no, Connor.
Yay. It's me, everybody.
Oh,
Does that mean I need to start the recap now, or...?
yes.
Wow. Okay, from the best of my memory. Long story short, many things happened last session. A lot of things, if anything. Many things happening, but the one thing that wasn't happening was like chorus. No offense.
Rude.
Meanwhile, Lycoris was just browsing across the void / world upon just, well, thinking idle thoughts. Meanwhile, in another universe, well, on a plane of existence.
I will give a quick disclaimer because technically speaking, that last session, while
It's not canon.
it was entirely canon, though I will exclaim you can give a recap to that or to the actual like full session with everyone here. Since you're already on the train of this one, go ahead. If anyone wants to recap the last everybody being here session, then you'll get a dice of your own. But you've got to choose to recap that.
Anyways, the train. Various people were in like a dream state place, which the main character of that orchestration was none other than Esatari.
Boo 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 boo.
But she's so dreamy.
That was the case, right?
Mhm.
And
It's not my fault.
and Brewin and Lycoris were just more or less imagined because they don't really. Well, Lycoris doesn't dream, and well, Brewin was in his own dream. Anyways, that brought about being in a dreamlike place of like where Esatari's partner in crime, which I never remember the name of because I don't hear the name now.
Utsuma?
Harry.
No.
Atari,
Harry.
which is part of her name.
Yeah.
I just don't talk about her.
Exactly. Yeah. Tari was created by Tari, as well as several other weird-looking dream spirits, which, well, fairies, if you will, white ones and black ones, dream fairies, if you will. Then they had their spill of things of what was going on, like Esatari also met the. Was it the Pixie Queen? Some form of queen.
Yeah.
Well, the queen of the dream fairies, and stuff was happening in that place. Even to the point of where the Pixie Queen was like, well, these are just but dreamers like yourself, but very insignificant. They also get jealous. But yes, so that sort of happened, and then Esatari was kind of like, what's happening, why am I here, blah blah blah, and it turns out Esatari, by choice, if chooses to, can come back here, but Esatari didn't know how she did it in the first place. So there's going to be the fun figuring that out.
Oh.
Then meanwhile on Brewin's end, Brewin was in his own celestial lecture of where he had the fight himself. Which kind of was like a bit because, well, he had a spear charged at himself, but then Mimi kind of was like, wait a minute, why don't I do the same thing? Did the same thing, summoned the spear, it was pretty cool, but I'm shit with melee weapons, so that didn't go entirely well. And there was some form of spell / force field allowing, well, not allowing me to use my own spells, which was sad, but I got over it with the spear. Then, after a little bit of an exchange back and forth, it turns out that the Mimi turned into, well, a bigger winged version of me, then turned into the dastardly priest, who I hate with all of my, well, yeah, it's fair to say I hate with all my heart, actually, yeah. I was going to say hate with all my heart, but it's not my character, but deep down, everyone has that hate they have for someone, but Archduke Richard Magnifolia is really up there for Bremen. Turned into him. Turned very menacingly when there was a voice. When there comes to the time, can you really take down this man? But then there was a choice that Brewen had to make. He could either choose to trap the man in the cage after being told that there is a cage that he can be imprisoned in and sealed away for all eternity. Well, there's the spear who can put an end to this man, but it would change you in bad ways, not ways that you choose to foresee. But then that ended up being, in Brewen's mind, eternity is, well, not really, is pretty non-existent to a degree, because there's no certainty that it will be for eternity, because people are curious, humankind / well, everyone in general are curious, and they're bound to stumble upon this ceiling / cage, and will try to unleash him upon the world again, which that would just undo all the hard work. So Brewen took upon the choice of equipping the spear, even if it turns him for the worse, but he'll get to solving that problem when it gets to it. And then it came to Esotari again, of where, well, she was told the last few messages, which I couldn't remember the detail of because I was half asleep. I was very tired that night. And, well, they ended up, well, leaving and then chased. Was I right in saying that you were chased by, like, loads of dark fairies?
All of the fairies.
Okay.
Fairies!
Fairies?
Fairies!
The fairies
They were
do
just
love
trying to
Megan.
escape.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. They were trying to escape because, well, you had access to the gate, which they wanted to go through.
Yeah.
And,
We
well,
let
that
them
happened.
through.
And then, yeah, that's pretty much the last of what I remember. And that's exactly what I thought, Lee, when I heard you say that.
Fairies!
I was just trying to find the GIF for that as well.
So,
And,
yeah.
well, that's as much and as far as I remember, and that is my recap.
Does anyone want to recap the last session? Don't have to.
Does anyone not have
the session
rode
before?
a-
You mean the session before?
We rode a magic pony all the way back whilst Anessa was fighting,
Yeah.
and then we got back, and there wasn't actually anything left for us to fight because, you know, like, well, at least
Blitzed them all.
because
No
most
bit
of
of
the damage
fighting.
was done. And then dwarf guy used his thingy, but it meant he was gonna die, and then everyone was real sad.
Yeah.
Anriel and Keir returned, and Anriel's got some sort of disease, and Keir accepted the fucking demon scythe to keep Anriel alive. Sinon is dead because he got killed in fighting, and then the bridge has been blown up, and there's some child related to Anessa in the refugees somewhere.
You don't know that though. Sinon died.
Yeah, Sinon is dead.
Yeah.
He died in battle.
Yeah.
And then Brewin dropped his body in the ocean.
Gave him an ocean burial, okay?
He did do it rather ceremoniously, so it was
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't. You mean he wasn't just like yeet?
This is like, well, you're dead now.
Which
Good
would
job.
probably have been expected from Brewin.
Brewin's one of the more
He
sensitive
is.
of everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't show it though. Not to
Yeah,
not to not to an
many
extent.
great warriors are buried in the ocean. It's Viking tradition.
Which maybe I'm mixing it, but isn't theirs? Which one is it where they put you in the boat and they burn it?
That's Viking.
Viking.
Yeah, but I'm not going to just be like in D&D terms, like, Brewin knows that Vikings exist.
Well, I mean, there's nothing saying that.
He might.
Exactly.
Vikings were fucking everywhere.
I don't know this. It could be a 50-50. I'm double guessing myself, but
So,
It was also a time-sensitive point.
oh yeah, entirely.
Yeah.
plus Brewin felt that Sinon deserved better than just being put in the ground while everyone looked at his bloody body and being like, "Oh, that's just sad." But we were
Oh,
all
no.
at the battle he was just in. He deserves to be deep in the ocean, to be carried by the life
Yeah.
that is the ocean, and to be admired by the many living
We took
organisms that
out,
lay.
but he was a good man.
In the end, he died well. Well, so it will be sort of a minor rewind, but we will get back to the same point. The events that took place in our actual last game where Erin wasn't available, with you two having your little sequences, that will actually take place when you take your next rest. Before that, it's going to be just mostly RP and you guys gathering people anyway. As we left off from the proper last session, you all were headed with Freed to collect his people. You notice
I was helping carry Anriel.
as you're walking towards the bunker, you see a couple of soldiers sat around a small field area with what looks to be this mound of dirt. You can't see the side where you assume the door is. You can just see that these people are currently stood around, like weapons readied, just looking out. And they see you guys walking over. You see one of the guards stood by the door, opens it up. It's a full-on, like, a wheel for an opening door. I can't remember the words for the life of me, as always. It's a proper, like,
Moving. I don't know.
proper, like, sealed vault door. Spins it, opens the door open, heads down. Freed takes a couple of minutes, but slowly he heads down as well. You guys are free to join him and go in to see everyone if you want. He heads down, the other guards stay outside, waiting just in case. If anyone does follow, if not, it's either or. As he heads down, he tells everyone what has happened and that there is no longer a home to go back to. Whether or not people can make peace with that is not a question right now, and he tells them that though he can't give them their homes back, he can take them to the safety. Anything that they can take with them here and now, they have to take with them here and now. There is enough food to survive at least about a week for each family. You guys have food of your own, Freed, and a couple of his soldiers have additional rations on top of that for the pot. But for the most part, you guys know that with your best charge towards Gustodon, you can possibly get through the Iron Path with a forced march within about a week and a half. You'll get to the first settlement within about the edge of the beginning of about 2 weeks. But by that point, you could have some very frustrated, tired, and very hungry people. So along the way, the problem will be that you guys, if you are going ahead to Gustodden, you can get there in a much quicker time than they will, but they will not be as defended, obviously, from whatever natural problems they might encounter. If you stay with them, you can help them in the Soldier's Forest, you can help fight off any creatures you'll meet along the way, any enemies, but of course, you will struggle with them. Everything that they go through, you're going through too. The benefits of going ahead, of course, means if you can get to Gustodden in time, you can possibly bring people back to help them quicker. But it's really up to you guys. But before any of that, as people are brought out one by one, you eventually see the multitudes of families. Let me just get my own bearings on that quick. There's roughly, give or take, about 9 to 10 families at the moment that are like getting their bearings, not including people who are on their own. So give or take about, you've got possibly about 50 to 60 people there that are clustering together. Each are finding a cart and just piling whatever they have into it. Some people are sharing with others. Freed and a couple of his soldiers will be walking the way if there isn't any room. Some of the carts do have squeezing space, but again, it will make things uncomfortable for people who might have a lot of luggage or food. But nonetheless, you will have enough space to get you there in the time frame I gave you, a week and a half to the cusp of 2 weeks. As everyone empties out, Anessa, you notice a strange, familiar cockatrice. A large, what's known to be a dragon-like bestial creature that is basically a giant chicken. But on top of that, you notice a very familiar little man, and as he's riding atop it, he's looking around, looking at them all, and then his little eyes dart over toward you, and with the lovely little jet black hair and the piercing little purple eyes, he looks toward you, and then his innocent little face turns into a bit of shock, but then a smile, as little Vlad quickly leaps down off of the bird and just bum rushes at you. Charges across, dives underneath someone, sliding across the ground underneath this guy's legs, and he goes, "Hey, what?" And then he comes running over towards you and just latches himself onto you, arms just fully embraced.
Yeah, I was open towards him, but I look so confused. Vlad, what are you doing here? Oh,
Sister, what happened to your accent?
I've been around these people for so long.
Canon
They
reasoning.
tend to wear wrap- but I can still say burqa.
Well, it's good to see that some things don't change. I don't know where to start. It's been a long journey. What's... oh. And he looks toward the bridge, seeing that it kind of no longer exists. Oh, hello. Thank you, Papa. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I have food with me here, so I will be quiet every so often, because yum
Okay.
yum. But yeah. So he kind of just stares for a moment at the now destroyed bridge. You take the assumption he's actually been there for at least a day.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Just a minor explosion. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Hey, how did you get here?
I took Ravi. And then he points to the cockatrice.
Cockatrice.
Mhm.
Do I know Ravi? Is
You-
he like the family cockatrice?
You know that he used to run around and play with a couple of the critters of the area, and you feel like you remember something about a cockatrice, but this thing is fucking huge now.
But it's so big.
I
I thought it was tiny.
healthy and nutritious diet, I think. I
I just looked at him suspiciously, just like you experimented on him, didn't you?
no.
You fed him some weird potion.
I might have found some weird herbs.
Oh, and my face goes very serious. How is she?
Mm,
Does she know you're gone?
no.
Yeah, she probably won't notice anyway.
But
Has she been treating you well? Has she been feeding you? Have you been able to get food yourself?
I've been lucky with Ravi. It's been sort of helpful to have something that can turn enemies to stone. I've got a pouch of, and then pulls out this small pouch of what looks to be assorted fruits, nuts, and berries and the like. It was a very quick journey. But more so, why are you with such unique people?
Oh, Vlad, these are my friends. I know. I made friends.
Kind of just
Uh,
looks everybody over.
Is-
I'm just gonna stare the kid blankly in the face. Is he a child?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stare the child very blankly.
He's not like a little child. He's like probably in human years, probably like 10, 11-ish, something like
He's an
that.
Aranea child.
Yeah. Mighty child.
He is still a child.
This brooding looking one is Brewin. You might get along well with him. This is like Horace. She's pretty cool. And this. Do you see what I mean?
I already don't like any of your friends.
No, I'm not done yet. And this is Trafalgar.
I really don't like him.
Let him give you any substances.
Hey, I
Don't want you ending up like Mum.
I learned not to take substances from strangers.
Oh, I've seen Mum on those enough
I
times.
think I like the fact that he doesn't like me, so I don't have to like him.
So feelings
Okay.
mutual, you goat.
Be nice. That was free when I smacked.
I was sort of like recoil, like, ow.
And this is Esatari.
I like her.
She's very special.
You like her, don't you?
No. Vlad, right. This is Vlad. He's my little brother. This is everyone.
Hmm.
Do we look alike? I think we look alike. He doesn't think we look alike, but I do.
So for a bit of ease, so everybody actually knows what they're looking at. He is now visible above party people.
You know the pointy is though. He's not an elf.
Nah, he's just a
Oh,
good boy.
Good boy. He's like a Sasuke.
He is.
Aw. He's got Sasuke hair, kind of. But this is Vlad. He's my little brother. He's really annoying, but he's great.
I'll have you know.
Show them what you could do. And I want him to do some like cool rogue shit.
I'm not the circus chick, sister.
It's wrong. Also, the other thing I don't know about.
You see, he kind of just like stares. Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. I can't get the right sheet. Persuasion. Oh my god.
Oh, nice.
It's because he's not seen me for so long. Normally he wouldn't do it.
He just stares and kind of just starts rubbing his temple a little bit and goes, fine, but it's not... All I can do is hide really well, okay, for now. There's not... I can't really do many...
He can, I added it to his sheet.
Mm.
The feature.
Yeah. So, he kind of looks over each of you and just strokes the back of his neck for a second. I'm assuming you're talking about the literally only thing that he's got there.
His literal
The only thing I've had time to put on. I'm sorry, because I wanted to get his sheet. I've been planning 4 sports days
Hey.
myself. So I'm sorry I've not had time, but I'm going through it right now. But yeah, that's his feature from his background. And I wanted to see if we could flavour it up a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, I can
But it's
flavour
up to
that
you.
bitch infinitely.
Yeah.
So, as he walks past Anessa, you see that she's just about tall enough to cover his frame as he walks by. And as he goes out of vision, you see that he doesn't reappear again. And as you kind of look around, after a couple of seconds, you just are looking around. People all around you are just talking as normal. And then you each have this weird sense of confusion, where you feel as if you're looking for something, but you're not sure what exactly. And then all you hear is that good enough? And then you each have this sudden, strange sense of deja vu as you realise that the moment he turned away and was outside of your field of vision, something he did made him disappear in your memories.
Could I not sense where he is with tremor vision? Sense?
You could feel something moving around you. But the second he came out of view, he didn't exist anymore to you.
Oh, just... Okay.
Isn't he cool? He's so talented. Hey. Little bro, check me out. And I'm gonna get my dagger, and I'm gonna throw it at the floor, and I'm gonna teleport to it.
Okay, so as you quick swipe it and then blink, he's kind of just like, what the hell? That's not fair.
It's so cool, isn't it? And that's all me. It's not the dagger at all.
I don't believe you.
Nope. Saw me. Just so talented. You
So,
wouldn't believe it.
So have you been keeping up with your magic stuff? Or were you trying to copy me like I knew you would eventually? I'll take that as a yes. I win. Point for Vlad.
I do one of my spells that I learned from my wizard daddy. I can't remember which ones the warlock ones are.
What spell do you cast?
I don't know which ones are the warlock ones. What wouldn't have had before?
Eldritch Blast.
Oh, that would be cool. But I feel like I'll freak everyone out.
Boom.
Maybe something that wouldn't freak people out as much. What could I do? Would I have been able to do like Phantom Steed before? Oh wait, no, we've not rested. I don't have any 3rd levels. I've only got a 1st level. Would I have had Armor of Agathis before? Would I?
Agathis is a warlock spell.
What about Arms of Hadar? That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I
I
won't
mean,
do that one. I
isn't
don't.
isn't that a damaging spell though?
Yeah, but I'll just. I don't know.
Not to mention it's an eldritch nightmare kind of thing that you summon.
Well, it sounds cool. And if I move away from it, would it do it? Never mind. I'll do.
Can I sense what she's trying to do at the moment?
Yep.
Like,
You know that she's
Okay.
been egged on and she's trying to think of something to cast.
I would like to put my hand on her arm and just say quietly, remember that all these people around us have just lost their home.
So I begin to cast Arms of Hate. I'm like,
nothing too high key, perhaps.
okay. Mm. Okay, I'll do Armor of Agathis.
Mhm. Okay.
And it's like the all the like I don't know, like a purple kind of aura kind of a thing, like it's really cool. It's really cool. And it's like ice, bombs ice across me, but like purpley ice.
Crystally beautiful shining eyes.
Yeah.
Mm. So is it?
Like it does look a bit like a shadow of stuff. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Honestly, I thought you would have done something a little bit more explosive, but that's cool.
Oh, I have explosions. I have, but you know, right? So the bridge that you just saw.
Mm.
That wasn't me, but I did kick some butt, and so I've used my spells on those. But I'll show you something really cool later on.
Well, I'm kind of here for a while, so I guess we have time.
How long are you here for? Why are you even here? I don't understand. There's
Um,
so many questions.
Maybe it's better we talk during the journey. It's a bit of a long one.
Okay. Well, you're a pain in the butt.
Mm.
So I'm happy to have you here. And I just ruffle his hair.
You know I hate that. Then he like slips away, and you feel for a second as if he's trying to erase your knowledge that he's there, but you're just like, I know that trick now, bitch. So as you all enjoy the little sideshow between her and her brother, you see everyone has finished packing up their bits, and the convoy is ready to go. But what are you guys' plan?
When Freed was going down to talk to people, I would have gone with him, and
Mhm.
I'm wanting to look around and ask after, well, first off, the people who helped us at the bandit camp, so like Costas and Georgia and the Iltsma we like rescued from there. No, sorry, the ASMR we rescued from there.
Mhm.
I've got Iltsma on my mind. What can I say? That's my next question.
Still, I was thinking about him on my drive home from work actually. I was like, shit, we didn't even find out if
We left him unconscious. Of course, I'm still worried. So when we're going down, looking at all the people, all the refugees, kind of bunkering out.
Go back to say.
Like, did the other people other than Kier and stuff make it back from Yonima?
From as you're looking around, and even as you're following them out, like counting heads a second time, you can't find them amongst the remaining crowd.
Oh, Costas, the boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm displeased. Okay, I'd also like to look for Iltsima and the guy who was in the coffin with him.
You find Iltsima. He is still laid out for the most part, but he is conscious. The ASMR are also conscious. There's two of them. Would you like to talk to Iltsima?
Yeah, would. So you said he's conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Hello there.
Hello
Better
there.
open, Obi.
Hello there. while kind of rested against one of the sides of the inside of a cart, kind of looks over at you. You see he's very weak, but with a kind of small stare, he gives a like very small wink at you and a little bit of a smile, and then he kind of coughs weakly and just says, "Ed, again, where have you been? I've been worried about you."
Aw. Clingy.
Look in the mirror.
No. I refuse.
Oh, well, you know, me and my friends, we've been, well, we've been all over. Can I, like, kind of do, I don't know, a medicine check or something on him to assess how he's doing?
You can indeed.
Perfectly average.
As weird as it sounds, he's going through withdrawal.
Well, I did find him covered in powder.
Whatever they intended for him, sort of succeeded to an extent, but he's managing to get over it for the most part. Since you guys collected him anyway, he's had enough time off of whatever the substance was, but he's still recoiling from, well, yeah, the withdrawal.
So something like cure wounds would do nothing for him. It's not that kind of problem.
No. Something akin to like removing poisons and the like may help.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, no, I don't have that. I still haven't chosen my 4th level spell, but even the one I want to choose isn't that. I'm just gonna, as you said, he's lying down, so I'm gonna sit next to him. I'm just gonna brush his hair back a bit, and I'm gonna pull Chip out my pocket, and I'm gonna place him on his chest. And I'm just gonna make a bit of small talk. I'm not gonna tell him the horrible details about what we've been doing.
So she's now got a demon sword, is crazy, has some kind of law.
She
got
doesn't
changed.
get controlled by the sword. She has to murder people whenever she uses it. It's
I feel
cool.
attacked right now.
Everyone else is kind of crazy, but you kind of knew that anyway. But it gets crazier.
Oh, don't worry about the massive, like, undead army that's marching upon, where you come from and stuff. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
It's fine. It's okay. They're not going to get here anytime soon.
So I'm gonna make more casual conversation. I'm gonna be like, oh, I met a fox girl. I thought she was very nice.
She betrayed me.
It was interesting. You meet all kinds of people out there.
So, as you two are talking for a little bit, at some point while you're talking about the better parts of the journey, for whichever credit there is, you are stopped for a moment by him as he kind of just kind of stares into your eyes for a little bit. And it doesn't put you off exactly, but you notice him staring, and he just kind of smiles weakly, and then he's kind of rests his head gently. You see Chip is kind of like making gentle taps on his chest, and he rolls over just a smidge, and you're pretty sure that he falls asleep out of exhaustion.
Can I see where she is right now?
You can.
I'm just gonna come over and sort of like I will look at Ilsamar, but it's more of a like, bruh, what the fuck happened to you? It's not a concerned look. It's more of a like, what the fuck. Anyway, uh, when you've rested, do you know how to do that spell that gets rid of diseases?
I don't.
Ugh. Okay. Doesn't matter.
Perhaps Brewin? I'm not sure. I wish I did. I wish I knew.
I'll try Brewin. Let's see what he says. I'll just sort of look between her and Ilsamar like, yeah, I'm not hanging about. See whatever's going on here. And I'll just go wander off to find Brewin.
Okay. While Ilsima rests, you hear faintly that he says something about starlight, and you think you hear for a moment him say Tari. Or he could have maybe been saying your name, but the first part was so muffled in his sleep. But either way, he says Twilight and then you hear Tari.
He's fallen asleep and I feel like he's kind of restful. I would like to seek out Kier.
Mm-hmm.
If Rachel's allowed to stop by my boyfriend.
Oh. I didn't come for him, I came for you! You should be flattered!
I feel very upset. I'm too distracted by my little brother.
So when I find him, I'd like to ask him about Costas and Georgia and the other people who were at the bandit campers that we lost in the woods.
Mm-hmm. Where do you
If I do
begin?
find him.
You know that there's, at the minute, there's a very finite amount of space that people can go that's worth a damn. You see a couple of people over by the fields plucking out the last few pieces of fruit and veg and the like and putting them in caravans, but you see Kier stood at the front of the caravan looking into the distance. You can see that the scythe is still held in his hand. Anriel is, unless Lycoris would have put him somewhere else or still has him on her person, sat in the caravan directly behind him, the wagon directly behind him.
I assume we recognize the scythe. I don't think we ever asked that.
You do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna eye a little bit warily, but I'm gonna go up to him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm gonna ask him about the rest of the people that we got separated from. Specifically Costas, mainly, but Georgia as well, and just did anyone else make it back?
Not that I know of, no. If it weren't for the fact that Unreal got in the way, neither of us would have come home. I don't know where they went after the mist. We tried our best, but it was all too thick. I could barely manage to grab his arm before we got caught out. Why?
Why? I'm just concerned about them. I was hoping you'd know what had happened to them.
Not a clue. And honestly, given that there's now a small army of those undead freaks coming our way, there's no chance. Though I wish the best for whatever happens to their souls now.
So found his why question incredibly weird. So I'm just gonna give him kind of a side-eye kind of look and say, thanks. I'm glad you two made it back. And I'll look at Anriel, even if not entirely well. At least you got this far. And I'll leave. I don't like him now.
You hear as
You don't like who?
Kia.
Damn, I got my hopes up.
You hear as you're walking away. Now, would be careful on the road if you're going ahead. There's gonna be quite a number of monsters waiting.
I'm just gonna look back at him. Waiting ahead.
You've been along the Iron Path when you were a small group, but never always this many people.
I insight check him to know if that's just literally all he means.
Go for it. Sorry, I'm eating. Quickest bites I've ever done in my life, Jesus.
It's okay, take your time.
So, it sounds like he means something else, but not to your detriment. But you can't exactly pinpoint what.
Okay. For now, I'm gonna head back to Well, I'm just gonna go see if there's anything I can do for just the generally wounded and stuff, and if not, just go and sit with Ultima.
Double A run. What are you doing?
I do not have a clue, because I was confused as hell last time. I'm probably just gonna be sat somewhere contemplating the locket thing and see why it was kind of speaking to me a bit in that fight. Just wrap my head around seeing all these families and things gathered together. Just think about what I'm gonna do next. So it's gonna be sat very solemnly.
Okay. And as you're sat kind of just watching, you see a couple of kids with a slightly elderly elven woman. They each look to be either human, half-elf, or full elf themselves, the children. And they're asking very probing and you know fully well the answer to it questions about what happened and where their father is. The woman puts on a brave face and kind of just partially diverts the question at first, giving the usual he's gone ahead, he will meet us soon, he's currently doing something for Freed, he's generally busy, but we'll meet him again soon. And the children kind of take it in stride and just wander off. You see the look in her face of one who's sad, slightly ashamed, but mostly fearful for them. As the kids go running off together, they kind of just play in the muck for a little bit while everything's being finalised. You notice that two of them, two boys, out of the four, kind of start like roughhousing a little bit. The mother doesn't seem to notice as she's packing things away, and the two other boys are kind of there just like egging them both on, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of your brothers and yourself, and you kind of reminisce a little. And when you think back on your childhood and all the stupidity of it and all the venom between you all, you look at things how they are now, and you look at the necklace, you just kind of feel the pointlessness of a lot of everything at the minute, but you also see a bit of grace in it all. Everything that has happened and is happening is leading you to a path that, for all your life, you've been missing. Even those silly fights with your brothers, even the silly fights with them recently, finding out that they are just as impossibly human as you are. But looking back on your relationship with your family and everything that's happened now, and seeing these people around you with these grand weapons and great missions and absurdities happening around them, what do you feel about you and yourself right now?
I'm kind of relieved that I'm not as messed up as some of them. And seeing the kids playing, I'm thinking back to my youth. And I kind of want to go up to the woman and just tell her not to lie to the kids. That it'll hurt them in the short term, but it'll be better in the long term for them. But instead of that, I just sit and I just keep watching everybody, knowing that it's not my business how she raises her family, especially not since it's partly my fault things have gone wrong.
Okay. Well, as you just watch for a little while longer, you feel that small sense of, maybe not purpose exactly, but a kind of understanding and a slight drive. You can't get a mental sense of what this feeling culminates to, but for the moment anyway, it doesn't matter. For right now, you're here, and these people need some assistance. They need something. Like Horries.
Right, I'm just gonna go see if I can find Brewin.
Okay. Brewin, what would you be doing?
We haven't started moving just yet, have we?
No, but you can tell they're finishing up.
Well, to be honest, I will probably confer with the guards and just see if there's anyone that does need medical, sort of like any attending to of any form of, help I can be in relieving people of pain or anything, or anyone who needs, healing.
The sad state of that is that there's no one that needs healing, which is a good thing in its own, but
the people who did, are no longer.
yeah. Freed himself, you see that while he's a little bit dinged, it's not enough for concern, and any offer that you give him, he kind of just gives a polite decline to, as he tells you that he would prefer to keep a scar for this failure in this life, and that you should reserve anything you have just in case there is someone that needs it.
Very well.
And so, because Freed, very big as he is and very obvious with his armour, he's out in the open with a couple of people, you offering assistance. Like Horus, you would, after having a search for a couple of minutes, notice him with Brewin and a couple of people. So as you wander up, what do you say and or do?
I will just sort of poke Brewin on the shoulder and ask, do you have the ability to your diseases, or do you not have that spell?
Unfortunately, no. I know how to heal in the short run, as well as maybe revive someone from the dead, but that's quite the hefty price to be, well, sourcing for on that one.
Okay. I will just nod at Ruin and wander back over to Kier and Anriel
Mhm.
and just ask Kier what the hell happened.
I'll just follow Lycoris out of curiosity.
In what sense do you mean?
In this, that I'm just gonna gesture at Anriel like this.
Well, after the mist, there was some creatures. I think they were Trents. I couldn't exactly tell with all the mist running around. We tried to find shelter. It was rather difficult, with barely seeing 5 feet ahead of us. Something had twisted his ankle, so we were stumbling for a while. Luckily, I still had my sword arm working. We managed to get away from most of it, and then there was sinking sand, and then there was choking on the mist, and it's just all a mess. Eventually we got swallowed into the dirt. The land collapsed beneath us. It was at least about half an hour later. The mist had sort of diluted a bit, but it followed us down into a chasm of some kind. When we fell down there, the place was... it was a rank, skeleton-filled, god-awful mess. There was this dragonborn that was stumbling away. We managed to avoid it, barely. Unreal was coming to slowly after bashing his head. We managed to hobble our way towards a weird terrarium. Not before something had crept up behind me and gave me a smack in the back of the head. He, Unreal, was lucky enough to still be conscious. I'm not too sure what exactly he did, but by the time I came around, the weapon was in his hand, and the creature was at the edge of its blade. And, well, after I came through consciousness again, we were both thick in the middle of the mist, but a weird orb, a field, was protecting us from it. He had the blade in hand, but I knew he couldn't help any further, and that the blade was the cause of the field, so I took it upon myself. I took it out of his hands, and I walked us all the way back. Luckily enough, though, along the way, I found a beast of burden, though much help it was. We rode fast to get to the forest through my shortcuts. The beast had died from exhaustion, and so I hobbled us the rest of the way here.
So you made a deal with the scythe then?
No, he did.
You know we were in that tunnel.
I wouldn't have a guess.
He's made a deal with, well, a bit of a two-sided bitch that screwed us over.
By any chance, that wouldn't be the kitsune, would it?
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
believe it or not, that bitch is the guardian spirit of what used to be my ancestral home. So I'd much
Well-
prefer you keep such words away from your tongue.
Then I'd
Regardless,
much prefer us not to be in this situation, but she's a great deal of the reason it happened.
I cannot say that I agree with the methodology. There could be much to gain between you.
Well, she was siding with a lich.
A lich who actually tried to kill us. And would have.
And I'm not of that one, but it sounds like you escaped through some coincidence or another.
Not so much a coincidence as a curse upon the soul, but each to their own. What happened to you?
Way too much in too short a time. The problem is Unreal. He now possesses that weapon. It isn't his to possess. If it was in my hands, regardless of the curse, I would be able to properly use it. But now that
Are you-
it is bound to him, I can't take it from his hands further than 10 feet.
Are you jealous?
No, it is my
Or do
right
you-
by birth to possess it.
I don't think he did it to take it from you. I think it was a desperation situation.
I'm far aware he isn't a foolish man despite his outward appearance. But it wasn't right.
Say, you said it was your birthright to hold it. I'm guessing you know what it is.
And I do.
And you say that this kitsune is, something you worshipped in your homeland?
No. She... It's a difficult and long thing to explain, but essentially she is a guardian spirit that is blessed to deal with the earth that she is conjoined with. She is whatever the earth needs her to be, and just is the weapon that she summons. No matter where the weapon goes, the spirit remains there to defend the land, as the land has to remain. A guardian stays to defend and nourish it, while a warrior champions it and feeds it from distances.
I was gonna say, she was desperate.
That land was once blessed, but then cruelties and problems and afflictions from Demise's bones caused the whole of it
Desperation
to
set
fail.
in.
And now, yes, desperation.
Well, there may be a way to release it back to you. We happen to know the kitsune's common enemy with us, and surely if she is more likely to want a warrior who wants to devote himself to her. And if it prevents Anriel having to carry that weapon, then I suppose we can attempt to discuss it with her. It depends whether her lich daddy will allow it.
The only problem being that once the weapon binds, you officially devote a portion of your soul to its contract. So regardless if we free him or not, a portion of his soul will be forever damaged. And despite what you may believe, unlike the flesh, the soul, even a portion of it being missing is damning for one's next life.
Then I will we'll have to destroy the weapon.
It is not that easy usually. But if you believe you can, I leave it in your hands.
I'm gonna give Kier the side eye. He's acting weird and I don't like it.
I know, right?
But enough.
Can I flick him rather hard in the forehead, please?
Make a strength check. Of course. Okay, so as you quick flick, you smack dead in the forehead, and he kind of winces just a little bit, his eyes squint. Do I even bother to ask?
I'm going to connect psychically to him.
Mm. No, I see. And I don't even need to know that you're doing it to know that you're doing it. You could just ask.
The way you're acting, I don't know if I can just ask. I understand that this is some sort of god of your homeland and it's very important to you, but Anriel is lying there, diseased, and you're acting very strangely.
That is more likely because of the befouling potions of my old land. Nothing to do with the weapon. Else me holding it would cause the same effects.
Can I do detect thought?
Sure. Are you probing deeper or are you just doing surface?
Well, he knows I'm doing it now, so I might as well try and go deeper.
Okay. So, wisdom save, I believe. Boop. Ooh.
He's definitely gonna save.
Yeah, he saved. Natural 20. For some reason, as you still get the surface thoughts, which is unrest, a little bit of caution, but you feel like that's probably because you are quite literally in his head right now, and a slight bit of anxiety. But as you try to probe deeper, the second you feel a snare, a trap, loosening and tightening around his mind, you feel as if something forces you out through his sheer willpower, but something else that's protecting him. Something that feels almost primal.
No, I really am giving him the side eye, but I don't want Trafalgar to know I'm giving him the side eye, because then Trafalgar will feel like he's right, and I don't like that.
Trafalgar's busy.
Everyone's just gonna look on to here and just be like, well, it's not exactly been, well, the easiest of journeys back to where we are, and been, well, going across the cluster, bat buds, well, this, but if there is anything else you're not letting on, it might be worth letting us know.
Well, if you can revoke his connection to the weapon, you best do it soon. Because the more souls that you feed the weapon, the more souls that are fed to the forest. And the more souls that are fed to the forest, the more portions of your soul inevitably join it, until you are one with the forest itself. However, if you are of the bloodline that possesses the forest, such as myself, it only asks for a small tax. But unfortunately, because getting rid of the weapon from him is rather difficult.
Well, how do you know she won't revoke it?
I couldn't tell you. She might do,
If
but that would require us finding her.
we have a
Probably
way.
won't. She probably won't release him because she knows that well, we won't release it unless, well,
The only person she's loyal to is that creepy old man.
and the only person they both consider is me, but I want no part.
She would give it to Kier. She would give it to someone of the blood, but it's whether we can persuade her to do it.
They're saying that you say that, but you saw how keen they both were to let me out and to also give me the south.
I think
Yes, he is native, but I think, well, they're on to me.
well you can't ruin this. I think
I don't expect.
the best.
I don't intend it. I'm just saying that that is probably the only deal she'll probably take.
When does the Lich know of Lycoras's past or not?
He definitely does.
You didn't get an inclination exactly from him to say, "Oh, I know you. You're this person." But given how long he's lasted, he probably has a good idea, or at least will do by now.
Well,
Some of the things he was saying, like, I'm especially interested in this one, pointing at Lycoris.
well, if he needs my assistance with Vantress, the only way I'm giving it is if she releases Anriel's soul.
Well, regardless, there is an easy way around it, but she would need to be here with us.
And that would be.
It would require both of us to touch the weapon and agree to pass it on, with her giving consent within range of it. Otherwise, there is no other way to do it.
Well, it looks like you'll both be travelling with us.
Despite whatever you think of me and this weapon now, I do still care for these people. They are my people now. I would not have them taken unto harm, nor would I use the weapon on them.
I don't doubt you wouldn't use the weapon on them, but I think the sooner this is resolved, the better, and we need to do it soon because we are not staying here very long, if I understand.
You see,
Setting off momentarily.
a lot of people are in carts, everything's piled in. There's just a couple of stragglers trying to catch their kids as they're playing still.
She's your spirit, can't you call out to her or something?
It's not... She is a spirit of the land. I have no such long distance capabilities.
Can Anriel?
Possibly. From what I was taught when I was younger, there's a connection to the land in the weapon, but because he doesn't know what he's doing with it, and because I can't directly interface with her through it, it's like teaching a toddler to speak.
I don't know how we do this. I'm gonna look at Brewin like, the fuck are we meant to do here? Like,
You
find the
guys...
usual tactics of goading people mentally isn't gonna work because I have no connection to her.
You hear Freed shout across the fields that they're moving out. And you see his front cart starts to drive on.
And the souls it collects, is that only the souls taken by the scythe?
Mm-hmm.
only taken by the scythe, from what we remember. Well, I remember her telling me, from what I know. Not sure if there's more to it. I look to Kier.
So if I were to do the fighting with Sin Eater, Sin Eater will absorb the souls, so the scythe cannot.
It's all really semantics. The scythe has to drain their essence on their last breath, while the body is still down, as long as the soul is still present, as long as
So-
the scythe can drain it.
So
That's all
when
that
you
matters.
used the sword, when you used the scythe, did you feed it souls?
The undead did not have any.
Then you need to find a new weapon whilst we return to Gustodon.
The problem is, leaving it for too long is self-destructive. The weapon wants souls, and so does the land.
The living weapon.
Well, until we find a cleric who can restore Anriel, we can't do anything.
It doesn't matter
I've
who
tried, I've
holds
asked
the
every
weapon.
person.
That is why I
Yes.
hold the weapon.
But if you feed it souls, surely that's impacting on Anriel's soul.
And it won't take its full... Just trust me. It is much better to feed it over time, slowly, than to ignore it. It would rather kill him than go without food entirely.
Then feed it one in the journey. Avoid all killing blows. We just need to get Anriel to a cleric. And then Anriel can call the spirit, and the spirit can talk to you, and we can trade it over and whatever else it is you want to do.
We shall see. If the weapon calls for souls, I'm not going to rest. I won't risk his life.
Can I insight check him?
Do it.
Damn
A lot
it,
of
what is it,
14s today,
14
yeah.
today?
There is... You get a sense that he is doing this for his friend. It's just that with... as things are at the moment, and the small revelations of him and his past with this thing, you're not sure if it's your own paranoia or if he's got some other motive for wanting to use the weapon. You feel like there's something else, but you're not sure if it's a sinister one or a good one.
My concern is he is obsessed with his weapon and he's very angry he didn't get it. As it's his birthright and blah 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 blah. And the direct route to get it would be to off Anriel.
As of the moment, from what you can judge, he has his best interest in mind, regardless of
Okay.
weapon.
Okay. I'll just look at Kier and say, at the moment you seem to be thinking of Anriel, but the moment that changes, the moment you become more attached to the weapon than Anriel, I will not hesitate to take you down.
You make it sound as if I'm going to strike him down. I know more about this weapon than any other person here. Killing him with the weapon, or even my own weapon, that won't give me the blade.
Well, I know more about being soul-bound to weapons,
Then
and I also know more about how being connected to weapons can drive people insane, because I've literally done it. So, the second you become more attached to that weapon than you do Anriel,
well,
I will be watching.
you have a point, and I will give you that. But don't worry. Until he is conscious, I will wield it, and possibly even after that. Otherwise, it will be bare minimal contact. Now, on we go. We are a little behind. So, as the first lot of carts are moving forward. There is currently 7 carts in total. Whenever you see tokens, ignore the fact that there's like 100 fucking thousand less tokens than you expect for commoners, because no way in fucking putting 60 tokens on the screen, that would kill everyone's internet. But there is currently a give or take of 60 to 70 people that are known NPCs or otherwise.
How many soldiers?
11.
Or does that include, or is that okay?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 11. Not including Freed.
Are there any like healers or anything?
Mm-mm.
Damn it.
There's
If a soldier goes down, we've just got Brewin.
there's minor healing potions and the like, but there isn't many.
Okay. Okay.
So, as
I can do healing, I just could do remove disease.
Okay.
But whether you can do anything just through medicine as well, I don't know.
I think I finished Blood Sheet, by the way.
no,
I mean, I've not added all like the bio and stuff in there,
Oh,
but I've put a few
that's-
things on and I've put features and everything on there.
that's
I
over
think-
time. Okay. I'll have a look in a minute.
Okay.
As you all jump in a cart, start making your way down, well, at the minute, the only accessible path you have, which is a sprawling open field for the moment. There are a couple sparse trees here and there, as the land has been made fertile, somewhat, within this small portion of Alden. As you drive toward the Iron Path, an hour or so goes by. Those of you that had certain events happen last session, give or take, depending on if you sleep now or not, the next time you sleep those events will trigger, and when you wake up they will have given you lasting effects. For everyone else, if anyone decides to sleep, that's up to you, but you do get at least a long rest, as you all enjoy a well-earned rest. The land creeps into a brickish road. It looks kind of more like a dirt road at the moment, but it's a very sturdy one. And you know that it was worked on maybe some time ago by the judge of it. You can still see kind of like outlines of what used to be brick in the ground that has just been run over by so many hundreds of carts back and forth that it's just become a dirt smear by this point. About another 100 feet away, you can see a very small, like 60 to 80 foot bridge. As you're rolling toward it, there are what looks to be 2 figures stood in front of it, outside of the range so that you can still move through. But as you're all rolling up, Freed has the cart stop about 60 feet from the entrance. He comes along, makes sure each of you are awake, and asks for your assistance. 2 guards follow him along as well. And as you all jump out of the cart and begin to walk ahead, here is a map. Ahead of you, you see a large handful of what look to be drow soldiers of some kind, though they're wearing very well kept and sturdy hide armor at the moment, as well as what looks to be 2 daggers on their waist, a belt pouch filled with an assortment of small darts and little bags for what look to be multiple balls possibly, and a couple of little bombs of like smoke bombs and the like. They have these shoulder pauldrons that curl up to a point, and they have short swords and light crossbows on their back. They're well kitted out, and they look like they're some kind of personal militia or mercenaries. And as you each begin to wander forth, feel free to explore the map to a degree of your wanting. You do notice... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do I recognise the armour?
Make a history check. Nope. You're kind of looking them over, kind of like scratching the back of your head for a second, and there is this small feeling, but I mean, they could literally be anybody.
Okay, an odd one. Can I try?
If it was my mother's, even a nat 1, would I have an inkling?
You would.
Okay.
Even if it was my mother's, would I have an inkling?
You'd certainly find it weird that she's, she has a drow militia in Gastodon, but I mean, it wouldn't be too out of the way.
Yeah, see, that's why I saw Drow Militia. I thought, oh god, is this because didn't Lycorus's mum want to blow up the bridge?
There was a it wasn't just her. It was kind of a Gastodon-wide thing. The council.
Someone's fulfilling Mummy's dreams.
Oh fuck!
And yes, Connor, you may.
Party.
No, inadvertently helping. No,
Making Mummy proud.
no.
Connor, do a history check.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Brewin.
You don't know who exactly they belong to, but you saw them in the High Town when you were
I
visiting
fucking knew it.
her mummy dearest's establishment.
Ah.
There was one guard in the little garden in the middle of all the fanciest houses, and you saw him there once. And it doesn't immediately scream that it's her mother, but something about them just kind of screams that's the kind of thing she'd definitely do.
Fucking hell.
Which are related to Lycoris being like, weren't they at your, well, person who you say is not related to your house?
How you doing, Jack? No, Genty.
Yeah, I was thinking that I made the mistake of sending her a letter before we left, though.
Okay.
She was aware where we were going and what we were doing.
As you are looking around, you notice these mercenaries that have swarmed the bridge have also taken out what looked to be a handful of bandits that were pretty well equipped. You can see that along portions of the bridge there's what looks to be a rope and anchor that have been dropped over as if they were ambushing people or were preparing to ambush people.
I'm just gonna look to Brewin and be like, do you want me to ask them?
Ask them if they're with you. If
If
they
they're-
belong to your mother.
Yeah.
You can do if you want. I'll come with you if you need the company.
I'll just let Freed know what we're doing, I guess, and just be like, I think we know these guys, but I don't know for sure, so maybe just be prepared.
As you say that, you notice 3 guards are moving forward across the bridge. You see what looks to be more people behind them, but you can't make out exactly what they look like, as these guys are obscuring vision for the most part. And as they get to this point, you see the guard in the middle. He makes a motion as if he's listening to someone behind him. Does a small nod. And then he slowly steps aside. And you see, clad in this, what can only be considered like the finest like warrior garb, but a kind of like with a bit of a frill around the waist that leads down into a train, and a rapier on her hip, with the same lovely pale white hair, with a tint of pink that you've seen before. But she's
Fun.
not the only one that's there.
Fuck!
You see two
Who
other
is that?
people.
Your sisters.
Luminumina.
Oh,
Luminuminoom or whatever. Oh god!
Angelica?
Oh!
Angelina, the two.
Angelina, why? Angelina, how dare you
She
join up
stands
with my
there
nemesis?
with an elegance, but also with this small scar that's underneath her chin. Standing to her left on the map, you see Lupilla, standing at like 6'7". And above that, of course, you see everyone's favourite little assassin.
I'm glaring at him. I'm glaring at him, and I know he knows I'm glaring at him.
He's more of a terrorist than a fucking assassin.
I'm just gonna shout out to Angelina. Why is he with you?
Before you... Can we talk first? There's something slightly more important than
I'll
him.
start storming forward, glaring at stupid McStoopface.
Firstly,
I know he looks really smug, so I don't like it.
I'm just gonna give him a once over and just look back.
Firstly, turns out that Mother was the one who hired him to do all of that, to try and undermine the village. After he failed, he returned to her, she reprimanded him, and, well, after you returned me, I found out about it. She put him in my tender care, and now he serves my whims temporarily.
So Mother would. Does she know? I'm assuming she knew that Lycoris didn't. That Lycoris and him really didn't get on.
I mean, you
Her
probably,
mother, I mean.
you probably assume, right? Who knows?
I'm gonna refrain from calling her a bitch because I don't want to upset Angelina, but I'm thinking it, man.
Anyway, despite Mother and mine's differences, which I am thankful for you bringing up, by the way, it's what brings me here today. We heard that finally she was going to give the support that Alden needed. That's why we are here now, but then we saw, well, that explosion. We saw these lots waiting, I assume for you, so we took them out in preparation. We've secured a route directly to Custodon. I've sent a messenger ahead, just in the off chance that people do need rehoming. It's not going to be pleasant for them though. And they'll probably have to stay in the lower city for a while.
It's better than staying out here. What's following up right behind us?
I'll send word for Orleans anyway. Orleans will be able to help with any of the refugees. Do you have a healer with you? Do you have Lupilla? Lupilla. I'm gonna start calling him over. I'm not. That's not an invitation for the dickhead to join us.
Lupilla looks over toward you, turns, looks toward the trapper, just stares him for a minute, and then he begins to walk over slowly.
Lupilla, do you have the means to heal a disease?
It is not within my current self, but I can think on it for a little while, and I will possibly. Why? What have you done?
I've done nothing. So, one of our friends got into a situation in the Yornima. Got some sort of disease now that none of us can heal.
You see, as he's looking at you, he waves his hand in a circular motion.
No, don't. I know he's
And then
gonna
snaps
tell me.
his fingers. and his eyes shine for a moment. And he just looks at you. And you know he's peering through you. And then he looks at your weapon. And then his eyes immediately dart to you. He doesn't say
Yes,
anything.
yes. We'll talk about that later. I just sort of like, as subtly as I can, gesture towards, like, I don't want Angelina to know about the evil soul weapon.
He walks up to Freed. Takes Freed's hand in both of his and shakes it lightly. As for you, dear sir, who guarded the terrain for so long, I wish to personally invite you and your family to my own home, as if it were your home. For years I fought against their silly little regime of destroying the place. I'm glad you stood tooth and nail to defend it. And Freed kind of is just like looking up at him like, wow, I thought I was the fucking giant. It was not for my wow, you're very tall for a fellow from Gastodon. What did they feed you there? That's... Anyway. As for the rest of your people, should they require anything, just let one of my people know. And then he kind of just starts roaming, looking around and kind of getting intermingling with the people. What do you lot do?
I will pat Angelina on the shoulder and say, Anessa is over there if you wish to speak with her. And Trafalgar is hiding in the bushes down there somewhere, I think.
Why would you want to speak to me?
Because you guys were
all the time.
you guys were friendly, and I feel awkward because I sent all of my family members letters, and I can't actually remember what I sent in the letters, so I don't know if I was nice to her. I assume I was nice to her, but I don't want to scroll that. I don't want to scroll back up mine and Lee's conversation by like 4.5 months or whatever it was.
Search for the name Angelina.
Oh, that's quite a clever idea. See, this is why we. Oh no, wait! I've got it saved on my computer. One second. Let me just figure out what I said, because. Oh, that's fine. I was just explaining why I was a bitch. That's fine. I'll just give her like an awkward pat on the shoulder and direct her towards Anessa. Because I don't know what to say.
You know, we are sisters. You don't have to be this strained with me.
I'm just gonna look at Brewin like, I don't know what I'm meant to do in this situation.
She's...
Bruin just sort of shrugs and just looks back at her with a bit of a weak smile, but it's because it's a long journey.
I'll just pat Angelina on the shoulder again and say, I will eventually learn.
She nods a small smile. And then she walks over to Anessa. And as for you, who's the young gentleman on your side?
Hello. Oh my god, she's so pretty.
Why I did it?
I'm just like, I'm just looking over at the tower like, this is, my brother.
Oh.
Not me. I just push him in front of me. Yeah.
He's like, what the... I'm not a social tool, nor am I a joke.
That's what you think.
Kind of looks looks at her. She kind of looks at him. She kind of does a little corner smile, and I can tell we're going to get along very well.
Does he think she's cute? I don't know how old she is.
He kind of, as he's looking at her, he kind of squints a little bit.
I'm just watching his expression, like.
You see a little bit of redness.
Political marriage, let's go!
What do you like?
Still
Stop!
like a brother.
Stop laughing! It's not funny.
I'm not laughing at anything.
She smiles.
Anyway, he came for a very unfortunate summer holiday, and really, really not good with his timing. This one, and I just give him a big nudge.
Sister, I swear if you carry on, I'm going to get in your way with your one.
Shh. There is no one. Stop it.
No?
Cheers, Benny.
Oh, I see. So what you're
No,
saying is,
no,
when I
no.
tell her
Oh,
later
no.
on you said that, it'll be fine, because she's not so fun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean no.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh no. Oh.
Angelina smiles, pats him very lightly on the head.
I
Looks-
cast a mage hand and put it over his mouth.
It's like... He turns and looks to you square in the eye, squints.
And I push him back behind me.
You feel him poke you in the ribs.
So yeah, that's Vladimir, my younger brother. Is pain in the bum, but you know.
No.
So how have you been? This is a strange situation.
Just a slight. I've been to combat training. Learned a little bit more from my etiquette school, which I finally actually went to. But had a very painful heart-to-heart with Mother. She's changing slowly, very incredibly painfully slowly.
I've heard about that change. Yeah.
She has a rocky exterior.
Ooh.
Hopefully there's diamond in there somewhere.
She's a golem.
It's not actually your
I've got
mother,
an
it's a
image in my head.
golem.
Yeah, I've just got an image in my head of someone just turning into stone and I'll be like, oh no, is that what the change does? Oh well, I'm sorry. I'm glad to hear you learned things from your school, and yes, it's been lovely seeing you again.
God, we are
Oh,
so
look.
bad at this.
A cockatrice! Ah, I'm gonna go pet it. And I drag Vlad with me.
You just hear her giggling to herself slightly as you're walking away.
Goodbye!
She heads over to Fried.
I'm just hiding behind the cockatrice, just like, you do not say a word, I'm sorry. Nothing! No, a peep! Not a peep from you! Otherwise I'll take
It's
this
not
information
like I'm
all
only
day.
slightly behind you. Don't worry about it.
You can't hear that, I'm doing it like a hushed tone. I'm doing it in my... What? I'm doing it in my, like, whispered teacher voice.
What's Trafalgar doing this whole time? Like the rest of us are just being socially awkward.
Hanging around by the tree.
He's being even more socially awkward and
Yeah.
avoiding socialising.
At least
Yeah.
we're trying.
Yeah, like,
I didn't. He's not trying. He's succeeding.
he's just watching everyone. He doesn't actually believe, I don't think, that they're here for all good reasons.
Trafalgar,
Considering
what's
the last time we've met her, she was in a tent tied up, and then we dropped her off after babysitting her on the way home, and now she's wearing armor with what's basically an army.
Yeah, that is a bit sus.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just the rich getting fast tracked through the army. That's how it works.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Nepotism, bruh.
Nothing suspicious here.
That's just nepotism.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go bait the trapper.
How so?
I've not met the trapper, have I?
I'm gonna be mean to him. Am I the only one who's met him?
No.
No, we had a fight with him, didn't we?
Yeah,
It was
Sort of.
confusing.
Yeah, you broke my window and then I disappeared.
You broke my window. That's so personal.
Yeah. I was mildly interested to see Angelina and Lupla, but like not all that interested. I would have smiled at Lupla as he walked past, but I'm just still hanging out with the wounded and shit.
You're being a good girl.
Drama free.
Drama 3 since 93.
Free. No drama.
Drama free since 93.
Drama.
In that case, I'm just gonna turn to the trapper and be like, "What are you doing here?"
He smirks. I have a job.
Clearly, they're hiring amateurs then.
I don't know, I managed to slip by you in your sloppy work.
You slipped by me because I allowed it.
Oh, that's what they always say when they lose.
Yeah, you'd know a lot about losing.
Losing my will to live every time we have to speak, yes.
Yeah, I lose my will to live every time someone mentions you in my presence, but here we are again.
What's the
How's it
matter?
feel to go meet the people whose lives you ruined? That'll be fun, huh?
Well,
Just another day for you.
well, let's be honest here. It's not like you didn't privatize and manage to get money off of them. And spoils, homing, food, drink, respect. You're welcome, by the way. Not to mention a job's a job, and you know that. So, I could care
Yeah.
less about your opinion on the matter.
Says the man who attacked innocents for money.
Oh, I'll attack anyone for money. Just so happens that I have a little etiquette with it nowadays.
You literally blew up a peasant's farm.
I said nowadays.
It's been like 2 weeks.
Well, personally, I admire my growth.
Ugh.
I wouldn't pay too much attention to him. He doesn't really tend to have much respect over those for himself. And even that's low.
I mean, Bruin, he's an amateur.
Oh,
Trap.
you keep saying that, but I'm the one in business with some of the wealthiest people in Gestaden. So I don't,
Yes, because you're a good boy. You're a good boy, and when they say jump this high, you go okay.
That's kind of how the contract works, yes. And I can spill all of the silver and all of my guts, and I can replace them like that. This is the thing you've always had a problem with. I actually have success, and I'm willing to do what it takes. But you and
Don't make this
your finicky
no.
little rules you give yourself.
Don't make this personal.
You're making it personal.
No, you're making it personal.
Hey, you're the one telling me that I'm some seditious monster. Just because I live.
You literally attacked a peasant's farm to get back at us.
I
I
think
mean, if
you'll
you wanted
find.
to fight me, why don't you just come and say, hey, I want to have a fight? Instead of blowing up a load of peasants' farms, killing their livestock, traumatizing their children.
Do you not understand what the name Trapper means? Second, I have a job. The job was to upset them. The job was to destroy and undermine them.
Good job.
Do you want me to show you the terms of the contract? Because
No,
you seem
I don't care.
you-
I don't care.
you seem to enjoy this dick swinging bullshit, and it's really boring.
There's no. If you're gonna take jobs, at least kill bad people.
Hmm.
And have the balls to do it up close and personal.
So what you're saying is, when you and that new little sword of yours get out of control, I have permission.
Oh, sure, by all means, if I go around killing innocent people and acting like you. But I've already got several people on the list wanting to kill me when that happens, so you're gonna have to join the queue.
Alright then, what about this? When you managed to get Vortigern's head, and bravo, by the way. He was truly a bad guy, I'll give you that. You earned the money. But what about all of his little bandit friends that you slaughtered on the way? Did you think about them and their lives? Did you care? Just
The
remember.
difference is bandits make a life choice. Peasants don't.
So you're telling me,
Peasants whose farms you ruined didn't make the choice to be peasants.
what about those two over there? Are they an exception to your rule because they're your friends now?
They're an exception because they changed their life.
They had the
They made the
opportunity.
choice. And we gave the bandits at the camp the opportunity. In fact, one of my friends created an entire harem while she was there.
Hmm. I see there is no point in fighting a conversation with you. As always, it's a pleasure.
Ugh. Brewen, this is why I don't like people.
They don't like you.
You just said the man with a stupid nickname. What is this fucking... Oh, okay.
At least I have one.
I mean, I used to have one, but I grew out of it.
Hmm.
And mine was way cooler than yours anyway.
This conversation's really not worth having anymore, so I'd say for the sake of your professionalism and, well...
Professionalism.
In our business here, maybe we should just carry on. Just...
Fine, I'll put it aside for Angelina, but only because you're meant to do that, I hear.
Yes, as I said, I have a contract. And unlike some of us, I fulfill all of mine.
You always were insufferable.
Well, that's life, isn't it? Now, shall we actually get down to it? Some of us have to do some work. And as he walks off,
What an absolute prick.
the men that were around the area follow alongside him. Biscuit,
Why do I
biscuit.
feel like my mother paid him just to spite me?
Probably, but you're not going to know that unless, well, she tells you she did. That's just, well...
Maybe I'll ask
hypothetical-
Angelina.
That's hypothetical thinking right there. You could have asked her, but is that really a conversation you really want to get into, considering, well, I could probably tell by how you were just then, you wanted to, well, curse at your mother, but you refrained from doing so because of her presence.
Well, I had a conversation with oh fuck, I've already forgotten his name. Dude, what's his name?
Lupilla?
I had a conversation with Ishkari, and Ishkari said I need to be kinder to people. So here we are, and that I don't know my mother's situation or Angelina's situation, so I need to be mindful of it. See, I'm learning.
Congratulations to, well, being a person, I suppose.
I'm going to give you side eye because that's rude.
It's not rude, it's personal growth, if you will. You can call me broody, but at least I know the common courtesy of it.
That's different. He's different. We don't get on. We've never got on.
Of course, and what part of you made you think it was easy for me to talk to a man who, well, puts too many innocent people at risk just for the sake of him getting coin?
I mean, to be fair, you didn't talk all that much, Brewen. I was really hoping you'd throw some insults in with me, but you didn't.
Well, look at the look at the current situation, and look, well, having a small little squabble could probably cause.
It's cathartic to have an argument every now and again. That's what we do. We argue. We've never actually had a proper fight.
Of course, but I don't really think, well, people who have just lost their homes are going to be very, well, welcoming at the sight of two people bickering because they don't like each other because of small little spats. Probably not small in your eyes, but to them, to the people who are trying to move on and start a new life, it has nothing to do with them and they do not know the ins and outs, so to them it's insignificant.
It's a good thing they couldn't hear then.
Yes, so let's, for now, try not to cause too much of a scene unless, well, we have, well, unless it's well warranted.
Well, I'll continue to argue in private instead then. I'll wait for caravans of refugees to leave.
As they start creeping up behind, Lupilla and Angelina's notice. By the time you get across the bridge, you notice two large, what look to be statues of some kind of warriors clad in Gestodon soldier gear that is a symbol that you're about to go across to the Iron Path. And as you all make your way across the bridge, they have 4 carts of their own that they take a couple of people into and, you know, share the load a little, and it speeds up progress just a smidge on your next journey across the bridge itself, and then across to the Iron Path. It will still take a week and 2 days to get at the very least to the first settlement. As you're all moving along, you each face a couple of wild creatures along your path. You also see those same strange earthen mineral-like golems again that are roaming the lands, but the couple that you see are far and few between, as opposed to before where you saw quite a few of them the first time you came across this part of the land. With the help of Lupilla's defensive magic, as well as him essentially swapping his skill set from pure arcana to medicinal, he stops every now and again, checks everyone's okay. As the people from Alden do travel across the Iron Path, some of them get what's called a rusted lung, which is pretty much just too much dirt and difference in the air that they inhale, and it gives them a very shitty sore throat. And so he spends an extra day to make sure they're all tended to. But while he's doing that, since you did ask him about helping, or if he has the capacity to remove diseases and the like, he does prepare the spells to do so.
Okay. I will just show him Anriel and give a brief overview and see if he can help him.
Mm-hmm. So with Unreal, he wakes up every so often, but is pretty much mostly too weak to speak, and there is this little, like, slightly brighter green growing around his neck now. But as Lupilla leans forward, places his hand on his chest, you see that he kind of analyzes him first. And you don't exactly know what he does, but his eyes shine for a moment, his palm glows when it touches his chest, and his whole body shines for a moment, Unreal. And then he moves his hand back, closes his eyes, slowly clenches his fist into a ball, leans forward a little bit, and you see this energy start to form into a ball in his hand. And then he squeezes into it, and you see this burst of energy. It's green with a tip of purple energy start to come pouring from his palm, and then it slides and flows across the air like wind, and then seeps into Unreal's nostrils and mouth, and you see as the greeny tint starts to fade into a a dull white. And then, as Lupilla moves his hand back, you might want to give him a rest. He should be good after that. If not, come find me in my cart.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And we will have that conversation, by the way.
Okay. Can I wait until he's woken up first, please?
We can wait until we're somewhere safe. But I must let you know that I'm very wary of you now.
Join the club.
Try.
If there was any other choice, I would have taken it.
Indeed. Well, there is no choice now.
I don't think I was ever going to be given a choice.
Anyway, this is a conversation for later. I'm going to get some herbal tea. Keep an eye on him for me. And then he wanders away. And as the carts continue, a couple more days go by. Those of you who actually do have rations, reduce it by a week if you eat.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I'll use my rations to feed Unreal.
I have 5 rations. I don't know if Vlad has rations.
He will.
Okay. How many do you use 1 ration per day?
Yes.
I'm out of rations.
I'm out of rations.
I got 5.
Wait, did you say a week's worth? So
Mm-hmm.
7 days.
7.
I also have 5, but I assume that Unreal won't use an entire
No.
ration because he's ill.
You're gonna steal from the poly.
No, they're my rations. So I was
okay.
gonna say I'll give.
She doesn't eat.
I don't eat.
Oh.
But I'll grab Anessa at one point and say, I'll do you a deal, Anessa. If you let me, sap
Let
some
you
of your
what?
psychic energy now and again, I'll give you what rations I'm not using for Unreal.
Sure. I mean, I thought you did that anyway, but thanks for the food.
So,
Oh, sure.
I'm just more thinking you've got to share with a brother.
I'll share out one of my rations with whoever hasn't got any.
so with the
I've got
rations,
3 left.
with the
That's
rations
gonna
that
feed some
Anessa gets from Lycoris, it comes up to a total of 2.5 if she's sharing what's basically half. So
Yeah.
you get enough to survive the journey.
Yeah. I don't die from.
Well,
The rest of it I'll feed Unreal and just steal energy off of people who are willing in the party.
You can do it to me.
Eat.
Don't let Vlad see though.
I would like some rations from someone if they have spare.
I have some spare.
I would give you all of my rations.
I'd give you everything.
it's like you need ration here. I just got some from. It doesn't matter. Have it.
oh, yes. Oh my God, Vlad could. Yeah. No, he's not gonna pickpocket people.
Pickpocket from
That's
these
not
poor.
Trafalgar's job. Don't take Trafalgar's
Pull
job
to pickpocket for food.
from refugees.
He'd do it though. He'd do it just for a laugh.
Oh my god, your brother is just a baby Trafalgar.
He's so funny. But yeah, if there's any like wait, are the rich people coming with us?
Sorry, doing brain here. Trapper,
Yeah.
like Lupilla and Angelina.
Or just
Is-
that whole army deal.
Yeah, they
Anessa,
they have rations of their own.
Anessa, if you want, I will ask one of them for some rations for your brother if you need me to.
No, he has rations. He just gets bored.
Okay, if worse comes to worse, I will attempt to persuade the trapper or Angelina to give some rations to Anessa. Not Anessa, Astari.
Thank you.
She can have mine. I'll go plead for some more.
Like Trafalgar said,
Yep.
got rations to share.
Yeah.
Have we got enough for all of us? Okay,
I-
that's fine.
I-
Spare, yeah.
At the
I
moment,
only had 2, so I needed 5. Plus, I'm feeding Chip. So
Are we constantly moving? Are we setting up somewhere?
Yeah, if we
You
not,
guys
if we're
do
not
set
moving
up
during
every
the
now and
night,
again.
I can hunt during the night because I don't need to sleep.
Yeah, and
I
I'll make
can
a,
go
I'll make a
hunting.
tiny hut
If you guys
for
do want
a few of us.
to hunt, it will take up more time, obviously.
But if I'm only doing it when people are sleeping, the rest of them are resting,
Yeah.
I'm just using the time they already had.
hmm
Would that take longer?
Technically, no. A lot of the animals around here are native when it's light, though. So you will just get less rations than you would in the day.
I'll take less
hmm
going at night if that's gonna help. Because I mean, I've got fuck all else to do except keep an eye on Anriel.
Okay. What would you like to do for the sake of hunting for food then?
I will go out and stab things
Okay.
and collect berries and stuff.
Then make
But
a.
when I bring the berries back, I will run them by Heathenari first to make sure I'm not about to poison.
Here, everybody, eat these poisonous berries.
Die, friend, die.
Survival?
Survival and nature for the sake of berries and the like.
Vlad's going to accompany you.
In the middle of the
I
night.
want him to.
In the middle of
Yeah.
the night.
Yeah.
Does he not need to sleep?
He does, but he doesn't sleep much. He's used to being woken.
Okay, I will take the small child with me into the
I
forest.
can't believe you're letting your little brother go off.
I like that you're trusting me with a child after all that I've
Me,
done
I'm
in the past few
asleep.
times.
He just sneaks off.
Oh. Okay, in that case I might just be a bit like, maybe you should go back. I think your sister would be quite angry with me if she knew you were here.
He just glares at you.
I just journeyed all the way from another continent, so
I know, but I have to deal with Anessa. Like she's nice to you because you're related, but she could be mean to me.
I mean, that sounds kind of not true, but also doesn't sound like my problem.
Oh my god, you are Trafalgar.
I'm not sure which one that is, but I don't like that comparison.
Small, Aranea,
Wow.
blonde hair.
Wow, so you're racist. Okay.
No, you just both happen to be teeny tiny penis in my ass.
Hmm. Not sure if I like you more for that.
Oh god, he even reacts the same way Trafalgar does.
Well, you're hunting, I'm bored, so let's go kill something.
Okay, well, we'll go get some meat, some berries, bring them back. Please don't go too far. I know you travelled an entire continent, but if I lost you, I'm pretty sure Nesta would kill me.
He hides from her.
So,
Shit.
Anessa,
Yeah.
would you like to do a survival check and a nature check with him?
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, is it one or the other?
Both.
Or both?
Both.
Oh god, it's not as good as 5. I mean, I feel like he should be, but... Oh, oops, I rolled to you.
Oh, let me change that. Hold
It
on.
was 14! I've changed it.
Okay, nice.
Nature!
15.
He does okay.
So as the pair of you are hunting around, as much of a little fucker he can be,
Yeah.
he does actually seem very good at herding them into your direction, because he seems to make a lot of noise, ironically. But
Oh, children are good for something.
Hey,
you,
he's healthy.
I was about to say, but you do notice that weird gimmick of his kind of kicks in every so often, when he charges them in your direction, and then he hides behind a tree and his little mind mumbo jumbo thing triggers. The animal kind of stops for a moment, and it gives you that moment to strike it while it's confused. So
Clever.
you manage
I
to
like it.
catch yourself a deer, which is equal to 5 days worth of rations, as well as a fuck ton between the pair of you of berries and nuts, though you will probably have to clarify if they're safe or not, as you do find them by a very mucky spring. and even Vlad's kind of like, I'm not sure about this.
Maybe we take them back, and if they're no good, we just bin them.
Hmm.
I'm sure Esatari will know. Or Lupula can do his magic mumbo jumbo.
These are names of people I don't know.
Super tall, dark guy that looks like half angry but half really happy all at the same time.
You mean the guy that's the same race as you?
Yes,
Now who's the racist?
very tall.
Hey, she started it.
And Esatari is the one that Anessa is in love with.
Oh,
Oh my god.
well,
You know
yeah.
the one, the pretty blonde one.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. I can tell from a mile
Jesus
away.
Christ.
She's very simple.
Ah.
Mum,
She falls in love
Like
very
everything.
she falls in love very easily, doesn't she?
she does.
I mean, she's already slept with one of my friends, so I guess it was always going to happen.
He doesn't know what that means.
She,
We didn't when I left.
wait, what?
She has her own room, and she decided to share a room with one of my friends
Oh, why's that weird?
because she did it because she thought that they were pretty.
I'm,
How old are you?
Oh gosh, I have so many questions.
that's kind of a weird one, but okay.
Okay. At what point in your life's education system do you learn about the birds and the bees?
He's 6, but that's like just below maturity. Like
So he damn well he knows what.
He
No,
knows.
he's like 10.
knows.
He's 10,
Yeah.
11.
I'm sorry, did you not know when you were 10?
No!
Oh my god.
Like 15.
Has Anessa explained the birds and the bees to you?
Well, obviously, I know what birds are and what bees are.
No,
I'm not
mean,
that
what
young and
happens when-
stupid.
when two people like each other a lot, has she explained what can happen?
Then they usually beat each other up.
Yeah, kind of. Okay, when we get back to camp, what I think the best thing for you to do when we get back to camp is when Anessa wakes up, ask her what it means that she slept with someone. And if she can't give you an answer, then I'm quite sure Esatari will be able to explain as well, because they're both very responsible grown-up adults. So yeah, ask Anessa what it means. Is when people like each other very much, or or they don't have to like each other very much. Sometimes it's just an itch that needs scratching. But
What if Vanessa gets too shy and wants to win?
actually, I have a better idea. Ask Brewin. Brewin is very experienced.
I was
Um,
preparing my explanation here.
I still don't know who that is.
Broody guy, blonde broody guy. Tells me off all the time.
Is that not the one that's also like me?
No, he doesn't tell me off. I tell him off.
Ah, that makes more sense.
Wait, has Trafalgar told me off recently?
Yes.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah, he has. Okay, I take that back. He has also told. No, but he didn't see it.
Nope.
No. Small. The blonde one. Oh god, why are there so many fucking blondes? Why couldn't you have all chosen different hair colours?
I'm not blonde.
No,
Metal.
Rewin.
Blonde for holy reasons.
Rewin. I'm blonde, but I'm holy. So okay, so
Hey, we can't black heavy holy. Oh my god.
Rewin's the tall one. Broody tells people off a lot, very serious. Trafalgar is the smaller one that wears the hood, and he doesn't really talk to you. And Esatari is the blonde, pretty one that your sister wants to sleep with. Again, please have that conversation with her. It would be very enlightening for you.
Okay, I'm done with the pretense now.
So you do know what it means.
Yeah, I was kind of fucking with you.
Damn it! I was really hoping. But like, can you just like really embarrass Anessa because she 100% believes that you are an innocent little snowbean that's never done anything wrong.
No, well, no, she does not believe that. But I'm pretty sure she would know that I know by now. Because, I mean, well,
Does she?
well, she'll know. Trust me, she'll know. Our mother is,
A mother?
our mother is,
Oh, I thought you said a mother. I was like, you're her child, not her brother.
oh
I was
God,
about to
That'd
get
be a
very
joke and a half,
confused.
wouldn't it? Fucking hell.
our mother
I was
is,
considering it at one point.
she's, she has a lot of friends.
You're.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Anessa never told us that.
Well, there's probably a good reason for that. We don't
Is that
really.
why Anessa also has a lot of friends?
You see, he shrugs.
How old are you in comparison to humans?
I'm old enough to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but you know, like kids do that all the time nowadays. But,
14.
oh, so he's at that little shit age, huh?
Hmm. Well,
I'm getting flashbacks to what I imagine Trafalgar was like as a child.
well, as fun as this conversation is, I can't see a rabbit over there, so I'm gonna go kill it.
Okay, have fun. Make sure you're back before home time.
Not sure when that is. And then starts running
Yeah,
off.
it's okay. One day you'll learn to count.
You just hear in the distance. Fuck you.
Because
I
that's
like-
the rabbit.
I like
Like
this.
chorus with children is my new favorite thing.
Yeah. Same. I'm so glad I said this.
I like this.
They're gonna be
Very,
best friends.
it's very cathartic to argue with children when you're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So,
That's why we're in the jobs we are.
as you finish off the night, and head back with your spoils, whether or not you wait until everyone's alive and actually ready, or not.
Oh no, I'm literally just gonna dump them in whatever is the collective rations place,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna go back and keep an eye on Anriel.
Do you let anyone know about the assorted, possibly poisonous berries in there?
I mean, when they're awake, yeah.
Okay.
But I assume I'll see people wake up.
Mm-hmm.
When people are awake, I'll say, yeah, don't eat the berries until Estari's looked at them.
So,
Are you
Until that-
essentially just guarding berries?
No, I'm sat with Anriel.
Still
I
need
am the
berries.
captain of the berries.
I'm keeping an eye on Anriel because I'm now slightly worried that Trafalgar was right and Kier is going to turn on us all, and I'm scared he's going to kill Anriel. So I'm going to sit and watch over Anriel to make sure that Kier doesn't kill him in his sleep. Because Kier's acting well weird, and I don't know how I feel about that.
as the morning comes around, you let Satara know about the berries. Give me a niche check, please,
I was
Megan.
gonna say, I am not as good at these things as you seem to think I am.
Well, I'm just thinking you're the sensible one.
Is that advantage? I'm sensible. Oh, nice.
Ooh,
Okay.
you only know advantage. So as you kind of look them over, you barely take a couple of seconds. You like get a little like side dagger or a little knife on the side, just like open one up, and as the juices start to spill out, there's just this horrible stink, and you're like, nope, they are fucking decayed, they are death, nope, nobody eat these, and you just kind of find the nearest place to dump them and just poof.
Oh.
The nuts are fine though.
Thank you for trying.
The nuts are fine though, which is equal to a day's rations though, which could work for Megan's little boy.
Yeah. So we're surviving. It's all right.
Oh yes, for now.
Also, like during the journey, I've also just been like tagging along behind Lupla as he's like doing his like healing on like just the caravan people of the lung problem and various stuff, just to see if I can pick up any.
Tips and tricks.
Yeah.
You're like a surgical intern.
She's the nurse, I'll have you know.
I thought nurses had to be qualified before they went into hospitals.
Wow.
I don't think nurses just follow doctors around like, I can do this now.
I'm nuts.
They go
She's
to uni
good.
and everything.
No. That's how medicine works. You just
Yeah.
tail someone
You just
for a
you
period
just
of time.
watch people for a
Yeah.
while and then suddenly it comes to you.
That's how that works. Come on.
In all fairness,
It's
that is
magic.
most jobs.
To be fair, that is literally
Yeah.
how you learn to be a teacher.
So yeah, as you learn a little bit from him, mostly he is just using like pure magic to cure people, but he does teach you a couple of I'm gonna say blueprints, but it's not really what I mean. Concoctions for helping to naturally push someone's digestive system to be better, to help people naturally overcome soft poisons. He even tells you that there are some lesser poisons that can help alleviate the effects of wild poisons from stuff like snakes and the like. So there are certain types of berries and combinations of ingredients you can put together that counteract snake venom, for example. And he's doing this while treating some people and kind of checking up on them every now and then. And as you kind of just like taking a mental note of it, you note that one person that he's treating has a weird problem with breathing for a little while afterward. And Lupilla is currently busy dealing with some other people. Do you try to go and get his help, or do you attempt to help them yourself? It doesn't look like it will be like a really difficult thing. It seems like they've just started choking on something, possibly.
Heimlich maneuver.
You're presenting with an issue where I could literally kill someone. Like, is Lupla close? Like, would calling him over just be a couple of seconds, or?
It would be a couple of seconds.
Okay, I will call for Lupla. I will not try on my own.
So as he comes running over, he looks at them, kind of gently opens their mouth, looks down inside their throat, and because of the rusting of their throat is like closed up quite heavily, and they're currently choking on a bit of their food. And so he props them up lightly, and of course Heimlich. And they very quickly just like cough it out, look back at Lupilla, kind of just give a nod, give it a quick like thank you and a hug, and then they stand up. He gives them some water. He looks back at you, gives you a small nod. You know that you can do this. I've got this sort of natural inkling when it comes to other people and possibility, especially those with magical power. I can see in you that you've got a tinge of fae wallowing around you, but you've also got a little bit of what I'm just going to dub as good magic. You seem like the caring type, and it seems to be affecting your magic. And I imagine one day, should you follow the right path, and you continue using your magic well, you could become rather spectacular. Much like your other strange little friends in the entourage. You're all very unique. And in the future they're going to need you and the goodness you exude to keep them on the right path.
I'm gonna nod as I'm like tearing up a little bit from the compliment, and sit down by the guy who'd just been choking and just, kind of stroke his back kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to continue placing salve on this person's poor little wound. Is it okay if I leave you with them for a little while?
Yes, thank you very much for helping.
He starts to walk off. And then he stops and turns around. Oh, and by the way, Hiltzima will be fine before he gets home. So, if you would like to speak with him privately, he should be good for a conversation.
If I had ears, they would have pricked up.
He walks away. And so, as the day continues on, and you're all inching closer and closer, you get to the first settlement. Finally. Let me just find a thing real quick, 'cause it's not showing in my list for some gosh darn reason. There we go. So you reach first what's known as the Undermountain, which is where, and putting this very swiftly, the slaves are kept. Slaves solely for the purpose of, well, mining. Most of the slaves here are slaves because they've committed some kind of crime that they're being punished for, or they have been brought here solely because slaves have actually been purchased, but they can't openly have them on civilian grounds, and so they put them in the mines. A lot of the cases, no one that is an actual civilian will ever see the inside of the Undermountain. You will see the many small outskirts of farmland and housing and what's essentially a large-sized village, just to the right of the mountain itself, that allows people such as yourself a place to stay. It's very much where they usually have the tourists go at first. But then there's also, a little further in of course, that you guys have been to one of them. There is Doran, which is the Dwarven Mountain, and there is Elin, which is the Elven Mountain. As you're stopping first at the Undermountain, a couple of people that truly just can't wait anymore, and they just need to stop for a while. Some of the civilians jump off. Freed jumps off with them. 4 of the roughly about 9 or so houses worth of people stop off at the Undermountain, at least temporarily, to find themselves a place to stay for now. As you drop a couple of people off, a couple of hours go by until you finally reach Elin. And as you finally reach Elin, you are sort of home, with a manner of reason. As you get inside, Lupilla calls on a couple more people to help out. Soldiers, a couple of attendants. They take a small handful to his personal home, and he sets a couple of others up with some other officials that are in his favour or in his pocket, and he sets them up with temporary hospice in the High Town. As you guys are in Gustodon, Elin, what do you each want to do? And you can feel free to have this be you all go a separate way temporarily, meet up later kind of thing.
I'll go see my mother, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
and then go back to Orleans afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Trafalgar?
I can't. I'm just checking my notes now that you've said that to see if my brother and that was still in town.
I
or
thought
if
they
they-
left. I thought they went home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were
That's
leaving.
why
weren't
that's
they?
why we had to get the chest back.
Yeah. So I will just hang around and probably I'll head to Orleans as well.
Mm.
For now,
Yeah.
it's somewhere familiar.
If Iltsma's well now, I'll try and get him set back up in his shop and kind of repair the damage that was done to it.
Yep.
To whatever extent we can.
Okay.
I'm just giving Vlad a talk.
Nice.
I can't remember my way around. I get lost in my thoughts.
You guys have a very long tour.
Just the tour around like the place.
3 days later, where has Anessa gone?
Just like
Does
the
anyone
immediate vicinity, like a couple of the places that we've been to. I'm really like, are we staying at Orleans though? Because I'm kind of like, do I want to take them in there?
I think she said we can stay with her whenever we came back, didn't she?
Yeah, I know, but it's like more the nature of the place. I'm like,
I mean,
She
they're
doesn't
not.
want.
But they're not. They're not. It in the actual like saloon bit. It's just a saloon. Nobody does any of the weird acts in there. They have to
I
go into
guess,
the
I'm not really
the,
that
the
out-
brothel part.
Okay. She finally admitted it's a brothel.
I mean, yeah.
That's a win. Okay, well, I'm gonna talk to him outside and just be like, okay, so we're going to go.
Well, to a titty bar, yes.
What?
Come on, sister dear. I've already spoken with some of your friends. I know where we're going.
My friends at home are these guys.
Why would our friends at home know about this place?
How do you know what that is?
Uh,
Oh my god.
Sister. A mother. Come on.
That bitch.
It is what it is.
I'm too young to know what that is.
Well,
Okay.
unfortunately, both of us had to grow up very quickly.
I know you're right, but I hope that I'd get you out of there before
Mm,
you were exposed to that kind of thing.
it's not really. I'll speak with you later about it. Can we just get somewhere quiet?
I mean, I'm not sure quiet's the word for it, but sure, we'll go into the titty bar. And I'll just give him a heads up that there may be people who are rather inebriated.
Trafalgar, make a perception check or a religion check.
Oh, I've got to go perception because it's better, but I feel like religion should be really good.
So as you're, technically speaking, as you're heading to Orlanth, you do see Nessa wandering around with her brother, but they're kind of like taking the general tour, and you're just trying to find a place to, I assume, get a nice drink and have a sit down for once.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So as you're wandering toward, there is a moment where, as you're walking toward it, you feel yourself get kind of lost in amongst one of the alleyways, and you're just like, I could have fucking sworn this what. God damn it. You backtrack, and then as you backtrack, you find yourself back on the main street, but then as you're looking around, you can't figure out where it is you started. You can see the main gate off in the distance where you came in from, so you assume you could just walk back that way. And as you start walking, you see a cart with a funeral procession, moving along. In the back is the what can only really be considered a wooden coffin, a bric-a-brac makeshift thing. But a body is kept inside nonetheless. There is a black cloak draped around it with what looks to be like the symbol of scales emblazoned on it. You see, guiding the cart is someone in a dark black with a kind of tingy grey cloak that covers all parts of their body bar their hands and their feet. They lead the cart very slowly through the grounds, across the road. People that see it pass by lower their heads slightly in respect. It seems to be going technically the direction that you're going, but what do you want to do?
I'm gonna follow it.
Okay. So as you see, it leads off down towards one of the other sides of the two circular squares. As you see it split off, you notice the pathway that leads to Orleans, but you also notice this moving off to the other square, and as it moves off toward it, it moves through the slightly bigger space, and it drives through off into an alleyway near the end, and you see a spire in the distance as it drives up a very, very small hillside. They perch the horses up. They move to the back, gently pull the box out. Two attendants hoist it over their shoulders, and then a third, what looks to be slightly elder man, walks from inside of the church. The church itself is nary like 20 by 20. You can see there is one black and grey stained glass window. Most of the grounds here is where tombstones are and graves. As this body is pulled out, the more elderly figure with a vastly greyer cloak comes moving up behind him and takes the back of the coffin, and they move inside with it. You can see as they move inside, they take it as far back as they can to a long ornate table, laying it down very gently, and they start to patch the box up. How close do you get to look inside? Are you obvious about it, or are you attempting to be sly?
No, I want to hold back a little bit, but I do want to ask somebody who is basically who's in the coffin.
You see a groundskeeper off by a couple of the tombs, currently with a damp cloth, slowly gliding his hand over one of the headstones.
Who was that was just brought in?
As they turn around slowly, they stand up, leave the wet cloth gently beside the headstone, lower their hood, and you see very dark grey hair, but it's a younger, what looks to be orc, with very filed down tusks. That's probably, if I remember rightly, the name was Miss Blue. She passed away from a blood clot. There wasn't anything that the clerics at the time could do. I was told, despite what had happened to her, she did pass peacefully. Are you here to pay respects? Are you her family?
I'm just a stranger. I just noticed the symbol. I didn't think it was allowed in here. I thought only the Lolith was worshipped.
Even in a place like this, you need someone to tend to the dead. And that is what we will do, if they persecute us or not.
So this is a temple.
It is.
To kill and what?
It is.
I just breathe like a sigh of relief and like finally feel comfortable for a minute, and then I just go, can I stay a while?
Of course. I'm but a squire, but I imagine any company would be great for everybody. If you would so choose, there is a bench over there. And then as you kind of look where he's pointing, there's a slightly worn bench. Not by overuse, but it seems tests of time and rust and the like. There is what looks to be a plaque that says, "In thanks to the church and its many priest folk."
I'll just give him a slight nod, and then before I go and sit down, I'm gonna like go through the gravestones and just like not like take in the names, but just like look at them and see how many people are actually buried here and things, and then I will go and sit down and I will start saying some prayers to him, just like asking for balance again, because it's been a while since I've spoken to him at all, and my life's in a bit of a shit position right now. It's not very balanced.
Been certainly very, very fucking chaotic.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So while sat there and just kind of looking around, as you make your prayers, the same man who was cleaning the headstones kind of looks back at you every now and again. If you've opened eyes while praying, as he looks at you and you see him, he kind of gives you a little nod with a smile, and then returns to his work. And once he's finished with the headstone, you notice, though it's not like squeaky clean, it's at least quite nice now. There's no visible dirt. Some of the text has worn away over time, but that was to be expected. And he comes over, stands about 5 feet away from you. Would you mind I join you?
No, of course not. It's your temple. You may sit and pray and join me. I just feel like this is an area of peace and quiet for me. It's, if I told you what I'd been through, you probably wouldn't believe me.
Might
So tonight,
I ask and pose a few questions?
you may.
Under most circumstances, people will find peace in this place. As Kalimvor, he teaches us to treat the dead as if they were sacred. That's why anyone who's living can come and feel the peace of those that are gone, knowing that they've gone somewhere where they'll be defended, they'll be loved, they'll be kept ingratiated to our Lord. The living aren't always so kind, and death comes as a natural cycle. It is why we do as we do, regardless of rhyme or pasture you may go through during your life cycle, as long as you proceed to death gracefully. That is truly what matters, we find. And that is why we do our most and our most humblest to assist them. Your immortal spirit that remains in your body. It is sort of nice to know that it is us that aids you in your passing. There is something... Do you possess an amulet?
I do.
You do? Honestly, I was mostly guessing. There is just, very few people have that substance, a feel about them. I myself am but a humble scholar in comparison to my teachers inside, but I've learned to peer beyond simple fleshy veils. There is something about you, and I apologize if it sounds rather morbid, but there is something about your death that appears elusive. We usually refer to that as a clerical promise. Someone that aids in the continued lifespan of those that are worthy, or in the aiding of the passing of those that are destined to fall, or whose time it is. Do you have any knowledge of our faith?
I should do. I was raised with it.
Interesting. Where do you come from, might I ask?
You may know me, or at least my family, if I tell you my name. I am Trafalgar Daywright.
That name does ring a chord.
My family did serve Kelanvor way back before the world went to how it is now, should we say.
Ooh, indeed. You must, if it is fine, I do not wish to pressure, but I would like to introduce you to my teachers when they're finished with the embalming.
It would be an honor.
Wonderful. Until then, might I fetch you some tea?
You do honor me even more so. Tea sounds really nice right now.
He smiles with a very, toothy grin. The tusks still very much shaven, but good. Wonderful. Gives you a light pat on the shoulder. I shall be back shortly. Oh, my name is Michael.
It's nice to meet you, Michael.
He wanders to the back of the church. He disappears for a little bit, and as you're kind of looking around, you hear the sounds of people in the distance just wandering through the city streets. Eventually he comes back. He's got a tray, 2 cups, and a large jug. You see little trickles of soft steam come bubbling up, and he places the tray down on the table, pours for the both of you, holds it in one hand gently and passes you a cup, and then takes his own. Place the tray very lightly down a couple of feet away from both of you on the ground. What brings you to Gustodon anyway?
Let's call it bad luck, friends, and trouble.
Well, if it helps, a lot of the junior and senior members of Kalemvor's faith, or at least our chapter, have always had a history of such things. It is a enjoyable irony that such men of faith and goodwill were once little rebels. I believe Kalemvor has something of a sense of humour in that regard. But you're here now, for at least until you decide to go. This place is a home for you. You may enjoy the respite. And then he holds his little teacup forward as if to clink teacups with yours.
Yeah, I'll clink it.
And then he takes a little sip. And so, unless there's any questions you have, he will remain there and enjoy the peace with you.
No, I will just sit and I will enjoy the peace. It's been well deserved, I feel,
Oh, yes.
and much needed. So
So, because we're getting to the point where I think you lot will want to be going to sleep soon, I will do a quick zip zap. Firstly, Brewin, what do you want to do?
Everyone's not going to really be up to too much other than, well, to a degree like he was on most of his journey, just mainly being in his head and just, well, slowly 1 to 2 Orleans.
Okay. As you have a wander for a bit, and inevitably return to Orleans, here and there, you see shadows in the dark, and every now and again a hair raises at the back of your neck. You prepare yourself constantly, because you know this place is rife with them. None of them ever make an action, and anytime you try to chase a shadow, it comes fruitless. You find your way back to Orleans safely. On your way there, as you get inside, this will be at the end of everyone else's stuff, but you will eventually notice that Lycoris is around. Maybe Esatari is around. Maybe. She might be banging.
Nice.
And Inessa with Vlad having a little drink, possibly. A light one, I imagine. But you get to a safe nook. Lycoris, as you head toward your mother's, you are stopped by guards at first, but very quickly they come to realize who you are. And you are brought to the estate. The conversation is very quick with your mother, as she is literally just leaving the estate on what you take to be very important business, as there is quite literally an armed retinue following her. She tells you that if you're in town for a while, she will come find you, or you can come find her at some point, but right now it has to wait. Do you then go straight back to Orleans?
No, she'll go and visit. She'll go and visit Thingamabob to make sure he's still alive, and then go back to Orleans.
Ultima?
No, fuck. my
The
brain.
pillar?
No, Ishi's son.
Oh, okay, yeah, Ishikari.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems fine. As you go to his estate, he's currently enjoying some tea. You do catch him in the middle of some, what's not really a weird thing, but you see these floating little spirits of animals that are around him, and as you walk into the room they disappear in a hurry. And he does reassure you that it's very normal for him. He's always been able to do it. And he...
You do you, bruh.
Oh yeah, baby. And he does kind of greet you, say that you're welcome to stay, and offers some tea and all of the pleasantries. Do you...
No, I don't stay for long. Literally just popping in to make sure he's still alive, and I'll just say I'll come and see him again at some point. But
Okay.
shit's going down, and I need to go.
Okay.
Warn Orleans.
Okay. Then eventually, as you make your way back, you see whosoever ends up waddling their way back there. Orlinth, of course, will greet you next session, but for now I'm going to do everyone else. Selachorus, Brewin, Trafalgar, Asatari, you and Ultsum are having a banging time in his wrecked pad. Oh yeah.
Nice.
They have replaced the window. His shop has been locked. So as of the moment, because the shop itself has been locked by a lock they themselves have put, he can't get in without literally breaking into his own establishment.
Womp womp.
But the look of it on the inside, the place has been... it's been tidy to an extent. Everything has been put on either shelves or placed into, not a messy pile, but in a stood pile, like a wall almost, and placed out of the way. By the looks of it, everything is as good as it's going to get. And he just notes that he's got enough money on him that you two could probably get separate rooms, or a room if you wanted.
Get a room, bruh. Do it.
Wherever you wanted. Or you could go to Orleans, and he will meet you at some other point.
I was not prepared for this decision
Do
today.
it. Do it. Do it.
It's true, I've been wanting to do it.
You
before
have.
he was kidnapped.
Yeah. Do it. Do it.
I'm gonna agree. I'll shyly nod and agree to the suggestion. We get somewhere that's not.
Yes.
So, takes you about 10 minutes away from that area to a place that, even for Lowtown, sorry, not even for, that for Lowtown looks actually quite okay. It's actually on the other side where the other square is, oh, circle technically. Takes you to a nice little place. And as you walk in, he knows basically everyone there. They treat him as if he's family. Some people ask why he looks so groggy, and he kind of plays it off and gets the pair of you a room. And as you make your way up there with him, he kind of stumbles on the stairs for a moment. With your support, he makes his way up slowly. He just looks at you in the eyes, just smiles a little bit weakly. As you make your way to the room, he opens it up, and the room is lavish. The curtains are drawn. They are these beautiful bright reds with gold accents. The bed is in the furthest left corner of the room. It is a big old queen size. It is fucking massive. You can see the pair of you sprawling out across that thing if you wanted.
Hey.
Freshly pressed sheets. There is a bookshelf across from it, fully stocked. There is a separate cleansing area, shall we say. And there is an assortment of platters of fresh food that have been left on the counter side. He looks at you with that kind of look of I mean, this technically is and is not what I expected. And then he kind of just looks around the room, starts rubbing the back of his hair a little bit, scratches.
Like, how is he doing? Like, is he well?
He seems okay.
Is this all on the up and up now?
Mhm. He does seem okay, and from what Lupola told you, he will be alright. He might
He's just a bit tired.
yeah.
You're gonna have to do most of the work.
Yeah, I picked up on that on the way up the stairs.
And so, whether or not you end up doing anything is completely up to you. You have a room all to yourself. And that will be a story.
Find out next time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell everyone at some point.
On the next episode.
Of fuck, yeah. And finally, Anessa. As you and your little brother are wandering down, he gets into a little bit of trouble.
Little shit.
He steals a wallet of
Yeah.
someone wandering around. Luckily, if it weren't for the fact his little trick works as he escapes, he would have gotten caught. And you're just like, God damn it! He
If it works, I'll be really proud of him.
oh yeah, no, it works. Someone does catch that guy shouting that he stole from, and runs over to him like, what happened? Are you okay? And he's just like, I lost my wallet. How do I where, yeah, wait, where's my wallet? And yeah, eventually he
I just glance down at him and I'm just like, give him a little fist bump.
he's like ding.
Good job, bro.
He kind of opens it up and just kind of pulls out a bundle of like small copper pieces and just holds them out to you, like old times.
Oh, like old times.
Well, I mean,
And I exchange him a copper, like the copper pieces for a gold piece.
he takes it, looks at it, kind of takes a bite into it, and goes, "Well, that's such a gold. Weird."
Mm-mm. Have you not been getting the gold I sent you?
No? Were you sending things?
Fucking bitch. Yes, I was.
Mm,
At least twice.
I assume you mean mother.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
God.
That would explain the exotic scents I was smelling.
Ugh. Well, she better have at least spent it well. Fucking hell.
This
I worked hard for that gold.
it's mother we're talking about, of course not.
Bitch. Be having words with her.
Hmm. Well, that's I've been sort of avoiding it mostly, but there was the real reason I'm here. And you see as he kind of like looks down, he's like poking his thumb into his right finger thumb into his left hand's palm, looking down into it as he does it, as you two are walking off toward Orleans. It's some people came from Theron. They were claiming something about a new king and things were gonna change, and Mum got kind of spooked, and one of the guys, one of the many boyfriends, said they would take her away, and she kind of fought him, and then another one appeared, and it became this whole cluster of people, and I told her we should run, and she said, "Go find your sister. I got no more use for you." And at the time, she was a lot ruder than just that, but now that I look on it, I know she was, for once, trying to be a mother to me. But I'm pretty.
Always a change.
I know. But I'm pretty sure the village is gone. There was there was so many of them. But there was no way that they're not subjugated by now.
Wow. I wanted to get you away from there, but I never imagined it would be gone just like that.
Hmm.
I'm glad she stepped up for once.
She told me you would be in Alden. Or in Gustaden.
So yeah, she definitely got my messages then. They were intended for you.
Hmm. Well, I kinda hate the bitch, but I mean, at least we're together now.
We are.
Can we?
But this is dangerous.
I know. I've seen your
You
friends.
better have been doing some training.
I've
It looks like you've been practicing. That was a pretty clean swipe.
well, I mean, when you use it on the same 12 people, eventually you get good.
Well, you're still better at it than I ever was.
Maybe I can show you.
Come on. You don't mind if I have a drink, right?
It, why would I care? Mum did all the time anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm asking.
Well, I mean, I don't like her for all she's worth. I tolerate somebody.
I give him a nudge. And knock him over.
You see as he stands his ground.
Oh wow, you have been training.
I'm not just a kid anymore, sis. Believe it or not, this time I can look after you. Just promise not to throw spells at me.
I just like soften a little bit. Look a little tear in my eye. But I just say, well, if you're not a kid anymore, you might not tell it to your face because you still look like a baby. And I cast Mage Hand on him and ruffle his hair with a Mage Hand.
Just as he's about to speak, he goes, "Ah," and then ruffling the hair, and he goes, "God damn it!" You see this a little smile through the roughness.
Come on, Vlad. And we go into the place.
Titty bar!
Teddy bar!
As you...
Like, we can go and get a room. I'll get him his own little room since he's a man now, apparently.
Don't go that far, because if you're saying he's a man now, he can get himself a lady to go in the room
No,
with him.
I will not allow it. I will stand guard outside of his room. He's too young for that.
Put a lock on his door.
Way too young for that.
Okay.
You don't know what he did on his travels.
In my head, I'm glaring at like Horace's commentary. And I know she'll be thinking.
I will finish off
And I'm
with...
wondering where Esatari is as well, looking around inside. Just like, where is she? Is she here? I was gonna kind of put Vlad in his room. I'm not looking for Orlin.
She might be
had
I come down and I'm just sat at the bar just drinking, looking out for any friends.
Trafalgar, where are you sleeping tonight?
I'm gonna sleep at the temple, waiting for the elders from the temple.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sleep wherever I am.
Okay. So, for the sake of finale, you end up sleeping on that bench as the temple doors do remain open, but they are throughout the night busy with all manner of, you're not even sure what at some points, but at some point you do see a slight flash of energy, and there is this warmth that fills the graveyard. and you feel as if something was just purified or released, and everything just feels slightly warmer. But if you're going to leave them to it, by the time the morning comes around, for the sake of you specifically anyway, everyone else will have something different obviously, because Aura than otherwise, but as you wake up in the morning, rested on the bench, there is a blanket over you, and you are woke up to the sound of an old, slightly groggy voice calling your name. And as your eyes flicker open, you look up. There are 3 elderly gentlemen stood before you, each with the symbol on their chest. We have a proposition for you, young acolyte.
Proposition.
And you'll
Do
find
tell.
out what that is next time, motherfucker.
Do fucking tell.
Never!
Nice. Okay.
And that will be game minutes.
Nice.
Nice.
I enjoyed. So, I think I might be dead tomorrow, by the way. Because I had to break the news to my parents that I bought I got my sister a rabbit.
Oh.
And they're on holiday and they get back tomorrow. And
Poop
we're having
everywhere.
A family game night tomorrow. Well, she's already got 2 rabbits, and one of them died. She had 3 that died a little while ago, and she doesn't have the same bond with these 2 as she did with him.
Oh.
So Danny's sister had a baby rabbit that needed a home. So I sent a picture to my sister. I was like, "Look at this rabbit! I feel like you need her." And yeah, we just sort of got this rabbit.
Here's a rabbit, bye!
And I've just messaged my parents just being like, just thought I'd let you know, just so it's not a shock when you get home tomorrow, and explain the situation and everything. I was like, I know I should have asked first, but she really needed a home and I didn't want to disturb your holiday. And I just sent lots of pictures of her because she's really cute. And then I was proper nervous, and my dad angry reacted the message.
We got rabbits. I don't see the difference.
Yeah, well the thing is that she said that she wasn't going to get any more, and she has to be in a separate cage in the house until they can get bonded. But that's only for 3 weeks. So I'm just well, after those 3 weeks, she'll be in there's we've got a big shed that's been converted for the rabbits so they can roam around inside that, and then there's a little run outside. So I'm just it's not going to make any difference to you whatsoever, except for those 3 weeks. So, yeah.
Yeah, she's already got rabbits. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Nothing has changed.
No, makes no difference. And they took in a cat from one of my mum's customers because she passed away. And the cat gave everyone fleas, so I'm just well, this rabbit's less of an issue than the cat, so... But just letting you all know, if I'm not there for next session, my parents have killed me.
We shall get vengeance.
But I did take the bullet for my sister though, because it was both of us that decided to do it. But I was because she still lives with them obviously, I was just do you want me to message them and say it was my idea and it was a birthday present? And she was like, yes please. Older sister to the rescue.
Immunity. Here I come.
but I just got an angry react. He hasn't responded to me, and he messages Lucy and gives her a shit instead.
That was rude.
I know, just oh, this is great. I get off free.
You knew all along.
Anyway, thank you for this session. It was so good.
Yeah.
Can't believe you, Esatari.
Oh, really?
I totally can. Hey. I may have had my incident, but.
I'm still a thing.
Oh, what? Exactly.
Things developed further since then.
You guys, there's still nothing actually official.
But we spooned.
It takes 2 to make a relationship, and if Esatari hasn't decided yet, she's a free agent until she does.
Yeah.
That's true, I guess.
And you've had your cake, so let her have hers. And then
Literally the night before you confessed your love to me, you were banging someone else. The night before. Okay.
I know, but Anessa doesn't think like that. I'm just like, it's so weird because in my head I'm just like, yeah, you go get your lively boy, woohoo! And then as Anessa, I'm just
It's
like,
like, no!
I feel so betrayed.
For you, it's like, how could you?
It's so conflicting.
No, you're just confused. You're distracted. You saw Angelina again, so you're
No,
distracted.
she was very pretty, but I was looking at you. I was distracted by the brother.
I'm really...
How cool is Vlad? I love him.
Such a little knob.
He's my favourite.
He's a good kid.
Little Vlad is a little shit, but he's so good. I've been so excited for him to come into it.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, we're playing next week.
I am.
Yes, I am.
I
Yay.
believe I am free. So yeah.
Can I just say for the record that Anriel, Lycoris got Anriel a room at Orleans, and he is sleeping safely at Orleans with Orleans looking after him, please.
Yes. Looking after him or looking after him?
No, looking after him like properly. I
Oh, properly.
I don't think it's consensual.
Whips
if
and
you're doing it
chains?
Still unconsciously.
Fine, fair point. She wakes him up.
Fair.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is it's the perfect place and opportunity for you and him.
I've already said that Lycoris is gonna go to Orleans, but if she gets bad vibes from the sword, she ain't going in because you don't want to kill Orleans.
You do not.
Okay, good. She'll go in then. That's fine. She will go in and chill in Anriel's room to make sure that Kier doesn't stab in the night. Because now Trafalgar's really got in my head, and I actually don't know what's gonna happen here.
Trafalgar has said
Find
nothing.
here very suspicious.
Trafalgar literally said that he didn't trust them and that Kier was gonna stab us all in the back.
Oh yeah, I also didn't like Aniel, so...
Yeah, but I'm overlooking that bit because now now I'm sussing Kier. He's acting weird.
Yeah, very weird. I agree.
Yeah.
I only spoke to him once.
Yeah, but he asked why you were worried about people, which in itself is very concerning for someone who
I'm
was
like-
once a town therapist.
I'm like, why do you like? I'm like, did they survive? He's like, why do you want to know? I'm like,
Because I don't want to be sad that they're dead.
weird question, but okay. Alright, I need to sleep.
Same.
Samesies.
Bye, losers.
Bye, bye, bye,
Love ya.
Night night.
Bye. And so the end is here once more. And my microphone's actually turned on this fucking time, Jesus.